Three Counties Radio.
It's 6 o'clock. I'm Simon Oxley. The headlines: Yarlswood worker suspended after undercover filming. Public officials could be jailed for not preventing child sex abuse. And Beds police inspector fined for assaulting a woman.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Security firm Serco has suspended one member of staff and been told by the Home Office to carry out an immediate investigation following an undercover TV programme at the Yarlswood Immigration Centre in Bedfordshire. Last night's Channel 4 programme filmed staff referring to inmates as animals. Nicola Hazler reports.
Most of the detainees in Yarlswood are women, and last year several staff were sacked after more than 30 allegations of sexual misconduct. It's run by the private security firm Serco, which last year was awarded a new 8-year contract. In response to the latest allegations, the company said it would not tolerate poor conduct or disrespect, and it says it's asked for an independent review of their work at the centre. A parliamentary report into conditions at Yarlswood published today has called for a 28-day limit on detention and that rape victims and pregnant women are never detained.
Senior public officials and councillors could face up to 5 years in prison if they fail to prevent child sexual exploitation, under proposals being outlined later by David Cameron. At a summit at Number 10, he'll say the government wants to extend the crime of willful neglect to also cover social care and education. Today we'll also see the publication of what's expected to be a damning report into the grooming and abuse of teenage girls by men in Oxfordshire. Police in Buckinghamshire say officers involved in the death of a man in High Wycombe in 2008 will face a misconduct hearing as soon as possible. Yesterday, an inquest into the death in custody of Habib Ullah returned a verdict of misadventure. Police will today continue to question two people who've been arrested on suspicion of the murder of 16-year-old Becky Watts. The teenager vanished from her home in Bristol 11 days ago. 3 properties have been searched. A Bedfordshire police inspector has been fined £500 for assaulting a woman but has been cleared of sexual assault. Paul Kelly has been suspended from duty while Bedfordshire police carry out an internal review. More from Jane Killig.
Kelly, who's 44 and was based at Bedford before his suspension, hit the woman in London in 1998, causing an injury to her eye. A jury found him guilty of assault occasioning actual bodily harm, but cleared him of 6 sexual offences alleged to have taken place between 1996 and 2003. The trial took place in December, but can only now be reported after prosecutors decided not to proceed with a second trial.
Bedfordshire police think a series of robberies at the weekend where shop assistants were threatened at knife point could be linked. On Saturday, alcohol and cigarettes were stolen from a shop in Albert Road in Luton. Then on Sunday, there were similar robberies in the High Street in Dunstable, in Slip End, in Wellington Street in Luton, and then in Kensworth. In sport, there's a full Football League programme tonight with more key matches for our promotion-challenging sides. Watford host Fulham, MK Dons are at home to Chesterfield, Luton go to Bury, Stevenage hosts Plymouth, Wickham are away to Tranmere. The weather: scattered showers this morning, sunny spells this afternoon, a maximum temperature 9 degrees Celsius, and you can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
Thank you, Simon. Morning, Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. We've come to the cupboard to get our dog a bone, and guess what? The cupboard is bare. It's bare cupboard. Not, and I don't mean bare as in good. I mean, it's bare cupboard.
So what's my doggy going to eat?
Sure, we could find something.
Air biscuits.
That means farts, doesn't it? Oh, mate.
You guys.
You guys. We've not got a lot in the show, but something is bound to happen.
Across
Somewhere else.
Yes.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It doesn't matter, we'll be all right.
It doesn't matter. I mean, it doesn't matter really.
Don't really matter.
It doesn't matter. It does matter a little bit because it's me that's got to fill for 3 hours.
No, you won't be filling.
Sorry?
You won't be filling.
Well, listen, we're going to try and... we've heard that Tony Blackburn is going to be in the building, and we spoke to him a couple of weeks ago, and we're going to try and entice him into the studio for a little chitty-chatty.
As if he needs any enticement.
We'll just leave a trail of promo records on the floor of soul and funk music, and he'll follow that, and we'll put a cage over him. Or something, I don't know. Let's have a bit of the Kinks. Love the Kinks, innit? Yeah?
Yeah, they're all right.
You like the Kinks, girls?
Yeah, I like the Kinks.
I like the Kinks.
I can't sail my yacht. He's taken everything I got. All I've got's this sunny afternoon. Save me, save me, save me from this squeeze. I got a big fat mama trying to break me. And I love to live so pleasantly. Live this life of luxury, lazing on a sunny afternoon. In the summertime, in the summertime, in the summertime. My girlfriend's run off with my car and gone back to her ma and pa, telling tales of drunkenness and cruelty. Now I'm sitting here, sipping at my ice cold beer, blazing on a sunny afternoon. Help me, help me, help me sail away. Well, give me 2 good reasons why I ought to stay. 'Cause I love to live so pleasantly. Live this life of luxury, lazing on a sunny afternoon. In the summertime, in the summertime, in the summertime. Ah, save me, save me, save me from this squeeze. I got a big fat mama trying to break me. And I love to live so pleasantly. Live this life of luxury, lazing on a sunny afternoon. In the summertime, in the summertime, in the summertime, in the summertime, in the summertime.
Morning, Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. Now, Serco have suspended one member of staff and been told to carry out an investigation following a Channel 4 News expose of life at Bedfordshire's Yarlswood Detention Centre. Undercover footage showed a manager referring to detainees as animals and suggesting a guard take a stick in there and beat them up. In another clip, a guard said some of the women were evil. Well, Councillor Louise King from Bedford Council is chair of the local Yarlswood Health Review Committee, which looks at the health and welfare of detainees at Yarlswood. Morning, Louise.
Good morning, Ian.
Are you surprised by what you saw in the undercover report?
It was certainly very shocking. It was didn't make very pleasant viewing at all, and I was really distressed to see women being referred to in those horrible terms. I don't think all of Serco staff treat the women within the detention centre in that way, but I certainly think that there needs to be some action taken swiftly to address those problems.
Oh, the fact, and we're not for one second, and neither is the report suggesting it's all of them. There are some good people that work there, but the fact that even a small number of people would have that attitude towards the people in their care seems incredible, doesn't it?
Yeah, it was extremely shocking viewing. I was very upset to watch it. I did watch it twice just to make sure that I was seeing what I thought I was seeing, yeah.
Is it in line with what your health review committee has found?
Well, we've been looking at a number of things. We went into the centre last Thursday and had quite a detailed meeting and a tour. And there are aspects that we would like to see change. Overall, I think really the process of detention has been called into question by this. But there are things that we have a great deal of concern about. We're going to be meeting tonight and we're going to be discussing some of the things that we saw on Thursday that we were not very happy about.
Can you give us a couple of examples, Louise?
Okay, well, we visited the healthcare centre. It's clear that the facilities there aren't as they should be. It's clear that people are having long waiting times, that potentially they're not being seen when they could be being seen. And there's a very high demand for healthcare services within Yarlswood. And I think really you've got to ask yourself why it is there is such a high demand for healthcare services within that centre. And also we found that there weren't any counselling services being offered within the centre any longer. There had previously, I understand, been 2 counsellors there operating. There are now none. So that's a big gap for me. I think we need to see somebody in there who can talk to women who are in very, very distressing situations. They're facing deportation. They're going back to a very uncertain future, and I think we need to be providing that service for them within the centre.
It's interesting you mention that, because one of the concerns from Channel 4 was the amount of self-harm that takes place in there. So there is inadequate kind of counselling and mental health treatment there.
There are mental health nurses. There is a psychiatrist, as I understand it, who visits once a week. But I really don't think that's enough at all. If you find yourself in a detention centre, you're at an extremely difficult stage of your life. And it's not like a prison. You don't know what's going to happen. We are detaining people for indeterminate periods in this country. We are the only country, as I understand it, that does that. And I think there needs to be a radical rethink. There's only so much that we can do as a local authority, because we can look at the health and welfare and the well-being of people within the centre. But I think it needs to go further than that, and there needs to be a change to the way that we treat people when they reach the end of their immigration appeal stage, or when it is time for them to leave the country, potentially. We need to stop doing this to very vulnerable people. And yes, self-harm has been an issue, as you saw last night.
You mentioned the amount of time people are detained for. There is a parliamentary report published today calling for a 28-day limit to detention. Is that achievable? And how long are some of the residents of Yarlswood being detained for?
I think the longest I've known of has been around 2 years. But that's not anybody I've met, and I don't think that's anything that's happened recently.
No.
Most people wouldn't be in a detention centre beyond 4 months, as I understand it. But anything over and above 28 days, I think, could be damaging to the mental health of people within there. We've heard some very compelling evidence as a committee from some leading psychiatrists on this. You have to identify some of those mental health problems before you decide to detain people, because it's not possible to offer a therapeutic environment, as we understand it, for people with severe mental health problems within a detention setting.
Finally, Louise, last time we talked about Yarlswood on this show. Curiously, we had 1 or 2 people phoning up saying, yeah, so what? Who gives a stuff about these people? Just explain, if you can, the sort of backgrounds of some of these women in particular, and why it's so important that Yarlswood exists and works.
Well, I mean, I would question whether we need to be detaining such high volumes of people in any case. I think potentially there is a need for detention in a very small minority of cases. But the process itself seems to lean towards detaining people before their cases have been properly considered. We have something called detained fast track, which puts people into a detention centre while their asylum case is considered. I think there are other ways of dealing with the problem of people who've come here illegally. I think you can manage that within the community, and I think you may have greater success rates as well if you engage with people and try to understand the problems.
But quite often, quite often these people are fleeing from the most horrific situations, aren't they?
Absolutely, and it can be very difficult, I think, to prove what you've come from. If you are fleeing a situation, you're trying to break those links. So I think it can be very difficult for women to prove their asylum case, and that can take some time. Detaining people indefinitely while that process is undertaken, I think, is wrong. They may well have post-traumatic stress disorder, so that's got to be identified, because detaining somebody with that condition we understand, can be very damaging to their mental health. They can be victims of sexual violence. They might have been trafficked. And it's not right to detain those people. It's actually against Home Office policy to do so, but we still do.
Louise, good to talk to you again. Thanks for getting up at a silly time in the morning. Louise King is chair of Yarlswood Health Review Committee. 08459 455 555.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's starting to look busy on the North Orbital Road around the M25 junction, 21A roundabout. But having a look at the M25, that's all moving fine. No delays showing up on the M40 or the M1 so far either. There's some roadworks in Hertford on Cross Lane at the junction for North Road, which could get busy later on. And in Milton Keynes, looking at the speed sensors on the A421 Standing Way. That's moving fine at the moment. But there are the roadworks around the Kingston roundabout, which could get busy later on. On the trains, there's no reports of any problems and no major delays showing up on the departure boards. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Sammy. 6:15. It is Tuesday, the 3rd of March. I'm Iain Lee, and these are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. A worker at Yarlswood Immigration Detention Centre in Bedfordshire has been suspended after a guard was secretly filmed calling inmates caged animals. Public officials who failed to protect children from sexual exploitation could face up to 5 years in jail under proposals being announced by David Cameron. And police in Buckinghamshire say officers involved in the death of a man in High Wycombe in 2008 will face a misconduct hearing as soon as possible.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
And now here's one called I Play a Generic.
If you've missed any of the programmes here on BBC Three Counties Radio, you've missed things like this.
Do we really need public libraries anymore? Tell us what you think this morning.
Get behind your local station and help crack these clues. Let's see who can find the treasure first.
But there is a way you can hear it all again.
What a show today. We go back to the 70s for our chart rundown.
So when did you start making music?
Early.
About 2 years ago, I started recording on my brother's 8-track.
bbc.co.uk/Three Counties Radio.
You held a service in a vodka bar this week, is that right?
Beatrice, extraordinary girl. Isn't that a terrific sound? Completing the menu today, a lovely cockle van and rhubarb custard on toast topped with a meringue.
I don't want anyone messing with my brain if they don't understand how it works.
Last year, the IPCC dropped an investigation into your conduct.
Black and minority students must get better results than their white peers in order to get into university.
bbc.co.uk/Three Counties Radio.
I think my microphone was on for that.
It might have been a little bit on.
Might have been a little bit on. Boyley joins me in the studio this morning. Normally at this time we'd be teeing up the next story.
I've got a story.
Well, have you?
Yeah.
Oh, what have you got?
Buckinghamshire Fire and Rescue have issued a warning to people who use e-cigarettes. Vapists.
Oh, vapists! My favourite people. What's their beef with vapists?
A charger exploded last week.
They do quite a lot.
Yeah, I'm hearing a lot of these stories.
But now I'm going to.
Are they using the wrong charger?
They're using cheap chargers from the market. Cheap chargers from the market. Same with cheap chargers for mobile phones from the market.
Well, this one came with a. This one is the thing that came with these e-cigarettes.
Oh, okay.
So in this case, it's not people freestyling. Early this month, the charity Electrical Safety First announced a recall of the mains adapter supplied with Clear Smoke e-cigarettes. And then on Thursday evening, an unknown brand of e-cigarette exploded and caused fire damage to the floor of a house in Newport Road, New Bradwell, Milton Keynes, while being charged. It had been on charge for between 60 and 90 minutes, so not ages. I mean, people stick them in overnight, don't they?
I don't know. I don't know how they work. All I know is when we were in Prisoners the other day, did you notice? We were having breakfast in the local Greasy Spoon, and someone had an e-cigarette.
I didn't notice.
Someone had an e-cigarette and a tattoo on her hand. Oh, dearie me. I think it sums up that young lady perfectly well. Probably going to court.
Something I've wondered about, a lot of my relations think they've given up smoking, they've just transferred to these things. And they sat there the whole time, and it seemed like they had them on the go for most of the afternoon. It's not like a cigarette where you have the marker of, OK, I finished that cigarette, I'm going to light another one. Are they on for a finite period? Is there like a timer on them, or can you just puff away all day?
Keep puffing away until you have to reload it or recharge it.
Wow.
Yeah. And then there have been some tests recently. They said, oh, actually, they may not be as good for you as we thought they were, and they might actually be putting poisons into your body. I'm out of the vapist argument, okay, because the ones that attack me on Twitter are a bunch of obnoxious little so-and-sos.
They do get quite sweary, and I think in that case lose the argument.
I am sitting back and waiting, and I'll wait for the scientific evidence to come in, and mark my words, when it comes in, I'm coming out, and I'm going to be a very smug man.
Smugger.
Well, that was a great story, Catherine.
Anyway, so there's that. So watch out. If you've got one of these things, make sure you're not using a cheap charger.
Great story.
And don't leave it unattended and that.
I'm going to press a button.
Do it.
don't get it. Is this... I don't understand what's... I don't understand this song. I don't understand this song.
It's a silly song.
But what... I mean, Aerosmith are a silly... But I like that one. And I like the song about walking. Was it have it?
Walk This Way.
That's the one. I like that. But I mean, and I like a song they did called Pink. But the rest of it is rubbish, really. I mean, they're rubbish.
You like Pink?
I do like Pink. It's a good that song, isn't it? Don't you like that song?
Cheeky song.
Is it? What is it about? Is it about that?
I think it's about that.
I thought it might be.
I think most of their songs are about that.
They're silly, but I don't get that song. Who's the dude?
I think the dude might look like a lady. I think
Is
he
it
might be
about-
dressed up as a lady.
Is it a modern day take on Lola?
I think so.
Okay, well that's.
But it's joyous. There is no remorse there. I mean, with Lola, you feel that there's sometimes a little bit of...
No, well, I think the remorse with Lola is that he didn't
go for it.
He didn't stay and
Yeah.
have more. We've got in trouble with that before, so
It's only a story.
it's based on a true story.
Is it?
I don't know. The Lola song is based on a true story. Scoins, what do you think that Dude Looks Like a Lady is about?
Is it about a gap year?
I don't think it is. Well, it might be.
It might be.
It might be just.
Like it.
Hey, you like it like that, don't you?
Yeah, I like it like that.
Cheeky.
Cheeky geezer.
Cheeky geezer. Now, Justin.
Yes.
Not a lot in the show today.
So I say.
We are going to try and persuade Lord Anthony of Blackburn to come and sit in the studio with us and have a little chitty chat at some point.
He needs no persuasion. Just show that man a microphone. He is there.
There's a microphone. It's turned on. Why am I not sat in front of it? So hopefully he'll come in.
Yeah.
And even if he doesn't, I don't want to put any pressure on him. He's an old fella and stuff. But it will be great. Because no one we've discussed this. He popped in the other week. And no one talks to Tony Blackburn about his amazing career.
True.
They talk about I'm a celebrity, or they'll kind of, they'll be a bit jokey and stuff, but no one says, flipping it, you're Tony Blackburn, you pretty much invented pop radio.
They ring him up when people die.
Very true.
Yeah.
Actually, that happens all the time. Here we have a legend, and we are so lucky to work with that man. But 50 years as a broadcaster, half a century, that's absolutely incredible. We should be celebrating that.
Well, if we can get him to come down to the studio about 7:30, we will celebrate that by giving him a back rub. But could you take it to the streets, Just?
Yeah, of course I can.
Maybe get some, some honest questions, not too honest. I think you know what I'm talking about.
Oh yes, yes.
From people, and do you know what? There may be some young kids who don't even know who TB is.
Whatever happened to his dog? Obviously, the dog must have died, but...
what was his dog called? It wasn't Oscar.
Oh,
it was...
He used to bark in the background on his jingles. Somebody will know, but has he still got pictures of the dog? Has he got...
I don't think the
shrine
dog
at
was
home?
real. The dog wasn't real, mate.
No, it's because he's going to be basing it on somebody, hasn't he?
Well, no, it was a tape recording of a dog.
Yeah, but it might have been his own tape recording of his own dog.
No, it might have been from the sound effects archive.
I don't know. See, there's the question. Was that dog real? Was it a real dog?
All right, I was going to ask him about if he'd ever met the Beatles and working with Kenny Everett, but no, you want to ask if the tape recording of his dog was based on a real person.
But these are the things...
Really?
Yeah, seriously, these are the things... When I first heard a recording of Tony Blackburn, I said to my dad, what on earth is that in the background? He said, that's his dog. And it's always stuck with me. Was that dog real, or was it just a sound effect? We are going under the surface.
Well, I can tell you, it was just a sound effect.
But how do you know that?
Because it made the same bark every time, and you could hear him pressing a button.
He could have gone home with a recording device and recorded his dog. That could have been his dog. Was that his dog? It's a good question.
You're wondering whether Bailey should be recorded and used in your show, aren't you?
You should bring Bailey in. Do you know how to get a dog to bark on command?
Yeah, he's well trained, don't worry.
Finger up his bum.
Oh, now, come on.
Maybe that's what Blackburn was doing in the 70s. Listen, Justin, we'll be speaking to you a lot today, because boy, oh boy, we haven't got anything. But... can you settle an argument? Kath and I were having a genuine argument this morning. I'm going to spell a gentleman's name, OK? It's not a trick question.
Yeah.
We both disputed how it's said. So it's a fashion designer, Ralph, Lauren.
Oh, this is easy. This is easy. Ralph Lauren.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you.
The thing is, in the States, where he's from, where they invented him, they call him Ralph Lauren.
I'm going to solve this for you right now. If you have swag, it's Ralph Lauren.
Yeah. Well, of course it is. Because I said we were admiring his son. This is Andrew Lauren. There's an advert with this guy in, and we googled his name, and it turns out he's Ralph Lauren's son. And Kath goes, "Why are you saying Lauren?" And I said, "Well, that's because that's his name." No, oh no, it's Lauren.
No, Lauren doesn't sound quite as cool and as sophisticated. It's Ralph Lauren for me.
Pwned by Dealey.
Of course, coolness and sophistication encapsulated in Dealey.
Yeah.
How silly of me.
No, he knows his fash.
I know my labels. I'm a labels kind of guy.
Catherine, would you like to apologise?
No.
Well, you should.
I'm not sorry.
You should be.
I'm right.
Justin, speak to you later.
Take care, boss.
Thank you, mate.
Cheers.
Travel news for beds, cards, and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M25 anti-clockwise, it's starting to build up around junction 21 for the M1 to junction 19 for Watford. And it's also looking a bit busy on the North Orbital Road around the M25 junction 21A roundabout. In Hertford, there are roadworks on Cross Lane, which are looking fine at the moment, but could cause some delays later on this morning. And looking at the train departure boards, there are no major delays showing up there. But the Metropolitan line has said that the service is suspended between Amersham and Watford and Harrow on the Hill. But the good service is operating on the rest of the line there. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 6:30. I'm Simon Oxley. Security firm Serco has suspended one member of staff and been told by the Home Office to carry out an immediate investigation following an undercover TV programme at the Yarlswood Immigration Centre in Bedfordshire. Last night's Channel 4 programme filmed staff referring to inmates as animals. Public officials who fail to protect children from sexual exploitation could face up to 5 years in jail under proposals being announced by David Cameron. And police in Buckinghamshire say officers involved in the death of a man in High Wycombe in 2008 will face a misconduct hearing as soon as possible. Yesterday, an inquest into the death in custody of Habib Ullah returned a verdict of misadventure.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
There's a full Football League programme tonight with more key matches for our promotion-challenging sides. Watford could welcome back leading scorer Odion Ighalo at home to Fulham in the Championship. In League One, Milton Keynes Dons will have new signing Joe Walsh on the bench at home to Chesterfield. Here's manager Carl Robinson.
It's been someone that we've looked at for a while now. Obviously, when we lost Shawnee Williams, we've never replaced a left-footed defender to either cover Louis or to cover Casey, and that's what it'll be for the rest of the season. With the suspensions that Kyle and Casey get themselves caught up in, it's good cover.
In League Two, Luton welcome back skipper Steve McNulty after a 4-match ban as John Still's side go to Bury.
Lots of big games at the moment, lots of important games at the moment. There's going to be ups and downs, you know. Teams are going to lose, teams are going to draw, you know. So all you have to do, worry about the game that's coming up, do your best you can. When it's over, let's worry about the next one.
Stevenage will have to make a change up front at home to Plymouth, with striker Chris Beardsley suspended after his red card on Saturday. And third-placed Wycombe go to Tranmere, his manager Gareth Ainsworth.
It's this stage of the season where everyone's beating everyone, you know. People are scrapping for their lives, people are trying to get in the playoffs, people are trying to just consolidate mid-table, and there's going to be plenty of twists and turns yet, believe me, and just hopefully we can be among that top 8, definitely. You know, we want to stay around the playoffs at least.
And you can follow all tonight's action on Three Counties Sport from 7. The Football Association plans to enter men's and women's Great Britain teams for the 2016 Olympics. It had previously ruled out the move. Tributes are being paid to the former Tottenham midfielder Dave Mackay, part of their 1961 double-winning team, who has died at the age of 80. And in the Netball Super League last night, Hertfordshire Mavericks lost 56-42 away to the Yorkshire Jets. BBC Three Counties News and Sport. The next full bulletin is at 7.
Before we begin, thank you. Thank you, oh, thank you, thank you. Thank you.
I'm not a bad person.
I know.
I don't drink and I don't kill. I got no evil habits and I probably never will. I don't sing like Elvis Presley. I can't dance like Fred Astaire. But there's one thing in my favor.
What?
I'm a millionaire.
That's beautiful.
And I got more money than a horse has hands. 'Cause my rich old uncle died and answered all my prayers. But having all this money is gonna bring me down. If you ain't with me, honey, to help me spread it around, I could get myself a nose job. I could diet for a year. But I'll never be Robert Redford, 'cause I'm much too fond of beer. Please don't misunderstand me. It's not love I'm trying to buy. It's just I got all this here money, and I'm a pretty ugly guy. But I got more money than a horse has hands. 'Cause my rich old uncle died and answered all my prayers. But having all this money if you love me for whatever else I got. But accepting all this stuff, I'm alone in Fort Knox. I don't guess I'm doing all that hard, but I got more money than a horse has hands. 'Cause my rich old uncle died and answered all my prayers. But having all this money is gonna bring me down. If you ain't with me, honey, to help me spread it all around. Money, 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 money.
Hey, you! Come here, baby! Stop crying! Put a quarter in the jukebox!
That was Dr. Hook. And Money. The millionaire. A millionaire. Dr. Hook. That was Captain Hook. And a millionaire's money.
Money, money.
That was Money, Money by the Hooks.
That was Money, Money, Money by ABBA.
Hey! You just read a funny story. It's actually horrific, but it made me laugh. This shows how screwed up I am after... Hey, can I just say... we're having a little bit of fun last night. It was me and the boys. I had the boys, was putting them to bed, having fun. We had some listening music on. We had John Denver, the best of John Denver on, right, which I got for 10 pence. And I thought, what could... I thought, what could possibly go wrong? We're listening, and my youngest put the record on, and we're playing, we're wigging out to Rocky Mountain Hut, Colorado Rock. I am an eagle, I live in high places. We're wigging out to that, right? And then the youngest...
Sounds frenzied.
So it's really calm, okay? And the eldest is under the bed covers. Oh, and then the youngest dives under the bed covers, and then suddenly I just hear... Ah! And I'm at my wit's end, as you can imagine. I said, lads, out. Ah! Lads, get out. The youngest crawls out sheepishly. Never does that. And he won't make eye contact. I think, oh, something's happened here. I whip back the covers. Bearing in mind, they've been unseen for 5 seconds. There is blood everywhere. There is blood everywhere. Turns out the youngest had a knife and he didn't. What happened is the youngest headbutted the eldest and smacked his nose, and I've never seen a nosebleed like it. It was like a bloody Niagara Falls pouring out of each nostril. It was disgusting. I told him so.
You get it at just the right spot. That thing is going to be bleeding for a good hour.
The annoying thing was, I literally just changed the sheets, and now they're all bloody. They're so selfish of them. And I ruined a good handkerchief.
Oh dear.
And I'm going,
anyway, is your boy stopped bleeding, or?
I don't know. I sent him to his room. It's out. Go to your room. I'm bleeding there.
How did you address the injury? Because I am medically trained. I could tell you how to do that.
I told him to stop bleeding. You're not supposed to tip the head back, are you?
No, forwards.
Yeah, don't tip the head back because they will drown on their own blood.
Well, no, they'll just drink it.
How did he die? He drowned in a bathtub of his own blood. Is the way I want to go.
No, tip it forwards. And
I kind of had him upright. He was sat on me, facing the other way, because I don't want to get blood on my pyjamas. He was upright, handkerchief ruined, told off the youngest, told off the eldest. No stories for either of them.
You have pyjamas?
Sorry?
You have pyjamas?
Bottoms. I was wearing a hoodie in bed, it was cold.
Okay.
Doesn't have the heating on. I think that story should put you in line for a Pride of Britain.
Oh, Rear of the Year, at least.
Anyway, it brings me to this story.
Rear of the Year. Oh, I made myself chuckle. Yes.
A toddler found a 9-inch meat cleaver underneath a hotel bed.
Whoa.
Wow. I mean, there are so many questions.
Yeah.
Charles Johnson, 2. Found the blade among a pile of empty beer cans.
It's like killing a bee with a bazooka.
Almost.
Dad,
Beer can, was he Jamaican?
No. Dad, David, 32... He might have been, I don't know. Dad, David, 32, swiped the knife from his son as he began to play with it. They were staying at a hotel after a fire at their home, but cut their stay short after the find. I can imagine why that might be.
I've got a great phone in.
David of Bacup, Lancs, said, "I were horrified he could have done himself some serious harm." But E.J. Hussain, boss of Blackburn's Hillview Hotel, denied the claim and said the room had been inspected thoroughly.
Blackburn's... We're going to Google this bad boy. What's it? Blackburn?
Yeah, Hillview Hotel. And no one complained during the stay. I mean, if you listen to Jonathan's programme, you've got to complain while you're there.
It looks like a nice hotel. I mean, I don't see...
Let's have a look at the underbed shots.
They don't have any underbed shots.
Well.
That looks like I can't... Oh, well, I'm suspicious. Well, OK.
It looks like an old-fashioned type.
Where have you... Two phone-ins. Where have you hidden knives?
Wow. Really?
Oh, we've all hidden... You've not hidden knives from the girls. They're running around with a knife. You go, I'll take that, and you kind of put it somewhere just so it's out of the way.
Why would they be running around with a knife?
Because you've not hidden them particularly well. So you've got to hide them better.
Mine are all in my block.
Yeah.
Mine are all in my block.
Well, oh, right, yeah. That is the most ridiculous thing you can do. Supposing a burglar gets in.
Mm-hmm. It's OK, I've got a cosh under the bed.
Mate, you're too late. You'll be stabbed in the neck. A burglar gets in. First thing they're going to do, where's the block? Oh, there's a block full of knives. Right, I'll have this one. You have that one. You have that one. Hey, wee lad, you have that one. You're only 5, be careful. Right, let's go up and steal.
Is it Fagan's gang?
No,
Why are they bringing a 5-year-old?
It's your family.
Oh.
Probably. That's why I was doing the accent.
Gosh.
But you could be stabbed if you have a block. So I would say...
What, I should be hiding them willy-nilly around the house?
Yes, mate.
When I want to cut the bacon or whatever. What am I going to do?
Well, if I want to cut the cheese, what am I going to do? Just let rip. So never have... So, OK. So, firstly, where have you hidden the knife? No, this is a serious question. I can't find it anywhere. Where have you hidden the knife? No, but where have you hidden the knife? Seriously, I can't find it, and I want to cut the cheese, and I'm just going to let rip. And secondly, what's under your bed?
Oh.
Yay! And there'll be people... Now, that is clever. Interactive. It's like pushing your red button. There'll be people in bed listening to us. Stop touching yourself! Kath!
Put your hand under the bed.
And have a little root around. Let's see what you can find.
Shall I tell you what's under my bed?
Yeah, go on, mate.
Printer.
Already, this could be the best fun you've ever done.
Printer.
Yes.
The guitar for Guitar Hero.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And a telescope.
I tell you what was under my bed until last. This was under my bed yesterday. How to make radio. Honestly, this book was under...
Not under your pillow?
No, it was under my bed. How to make radio. I brought it in and thought, Kels, maybe you should have a look at this.
Are you hoping it's going to seep up through the mattress?
That was under there. Some magazines, some headphones, and my Wi-Fi box.
Oh,
is under there.
That could be zapping you.
Bizarrely, my phone socket is in the bedroom. So, what's under your bed? 08459 455 555. What's under yours, Kels? Eh? Is it? Is it
what, Ian?
Is it under your... What's under your bed?
What's under my bed?
Is it this?
Is it you?
Is it
Is it your hand movements?
No. Is it the salt
You've
shaker?
Never been in my house. Nope. It's just clothes.
Yeah.
Clothes.
Bit of dressing up, is it? Bit of dressing up. Is it? Is it? Is it?
It's all different clothes.
Yeah, of course it is.
Yeah.
A bit of fun, isn't it? It's just a bit of fun.
Yeah.
Dressing up.
But what's the first paragraph of How to Make Radio? I think you need a refresh.
It cost me £7, this book.
Wow.
The programme making team. Let's go to page 19. The programme making team. That's you guys.
There's no pictures in that book. That would be my criticism.
No. Presenter. Presenter is the most important person on the thing. They are the best.
No, it doesn't say that.
They are the thing. Producer. Here we go.
Boss.
A producer is a team leader who has overall responsibility to coordinate the programme, strand or series content and staffing. They will need to be experienced, well, she's certainly experienced, and creative enough to develop an idea and see it through to broadcast. The producer is the linchpin in radio programme making, as they are the overseer, ideas person, researcher, planner, editor, supervisor, director, and coffee maker.
You can jog on. I'm going to see an idea through now from my head
Do you know
to broadcast.
what, though?
What are you doing?
Hitting the Rolling Stones.
I'll hit you in a minute. Unbelievable.
I'm in. Bad timing, that is.
That's bad timing.
Got to travel and wed.
I don't care.
It's never going to fit in, mate. I could explain this, Kath. We've got to go to travel now, and there's 2 minutes of this song left.
Well, we all know how it goes.
Yeah, it's just Rolling
that.
Stones, isn't it? Yeah, on and on.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Starting with the trains, Chiltern Railway are suspended between Amersham and Marylebone because of a problem with the line side equipment. And if you're using the Underground, the Metropolitan line has severe delays because of a signal failure earlier on at Moore Park. On the motorways, the M1 southbound is very slow from junction 10 for the Luton Airport Spur Road to junction 9 for Redbourne. And looking at the cameras on the M25, it's very slow from junction 21 for the M1 towards junction 19 for Watford. The A1 southbound also has queues building up between the Holiday Inn and Stirling Corner. And on the A335 in Beaconsfield, that's got roadworks around Burnham Road, which is looking fine at the moment on the speed sensors, but could get busy later on this morning. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Sammy. 6:46, Tuesday the 3rd of March. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. A worker at Yarlswood Immigration Detention Centre in Bedfordshire has been suspended after a guard was secretly filmed calling inmates caged animals. Public officials who failed to protect children from sexual exploitation could face up to 5 years in jail under proposals being announced by David Cameron. And police in Buckinghamshire say officers involved in the death of a man in High Wycombe in 2008 will face a misconduct hearing as soon as possible. Let's get the weather. Here's Kate.
Beds, hearts and bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Good morning. There's one or two fairly intense showers around this morning, working their way through parts of Bedfordshire at the moment, up through Milton Keynes. That's the bottom of the line. But anyway, I could get one at first this morning. A blustery, quite heavy shower. They will blow through quickly, though, on this brisk westerly breeze. Behind it, it's an improving picture. We should get some decent spells of sunshine as we head further through the day. The maximum temperature likely to get up to around 9 Celsius, but it probably won't feel like that because of the breeze. Overnight, dry and clear, the temperature dropping a little, or just enough actually in the countryside to mean we could get a frost in the rural spots, a patchy one. Towns and cities likely to stay just above. So for tomorrow, it's actually a decent day. It's going to feel like spring tomorrow. Still a bit of a breeze, but nothing like today's, and some really nice spells of sunshine. Maximum temperature also in double figures at 10 Celsius, and that's your forecast.
Every weekday from 12, local people.
Wendy Howson and David Shipley are trustees of the Harpenden charity Spotlight on Africa.
So privileged to see lives change, conditions change.
Local stories.
A death cafe will be popping up in Bedford later this month, opening its doors for you to share sensitive stories and talk of afterlife.
Of people with the similar concerns. And you can have a light-hearted side of it as well, and we often end like that, you know.
Local life.
We're going to be heading off into the unassuming countryside of Bedfordshire.
We all know the brick pits and the industrial spoil that's marked the Marston Vale.
Nick Coffer, weekdays from 12 on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Pushing you, fall
can't. What on earth? Who chose this?
Not me.
Betsy Boo. I'm really... We're going to fall out over this. This is the kind of thing... She's on the phone now, so I can speak freely. This is the kind of thing where she gets really upset if you slag off her music, but that is rubbish.
That is like a robo-singer.
It's like Tattoo, isn't it?
It makes it better if you think it is a robot.
Oh, OK, yeah, imagine a robot wrote and sang this.
And I obeyed the sky therein.
That's actually not bad for a robot.
Installation lair, out of the moles that hovered there.
How could she make this better? I mean, Kelly, not the singer. There's no way she can make that better.
All the things she said, running through her head, running through my head, running through my head.
Do you know what's running through my head?
Yeah.
A coffee would make it all right.
I tell you what's running through my head. Mr. Bean. Everyone said, oh, Mr. Bean's back. Mr. Bean's back.
I don't like Mr. Bean.
Mr. Bean is utter... Oh, I've got to tell one. There's my pants. Oh, where's my pants on my head? Oh, he stole my camera.
My kids love Mr. Bean, though.
Why?
Cartoon
the cartoon.
Yeah.
Oh, that is just the laziest.
I hate it, so my dad bought him the box set.
Mr. Bean is toast if he's caught taking this bad taste selfie in front of a wreath-covered coffin at a funeral. Rowan Atkinson's bumbling comic creation makes a typical faux pas in a sketch full of twists, turns and complications as he returns to comic relief. Oh, take a selfie.
Oh, he's doing it for charity.
Oh, I'm going to take a selfie at a funeral. Oh, Mr. Bean. He's so unfunny. Here's the things that are unfunny. Mr. Bean, 40 Towers, Only Fools and Horses, Carry On films.
I quite like Fawlty Towers.
No, mate. It's all
I didn't
it
make
is.
That many, so
all it is John Cleese shouting.
Yeah.
Sybil! 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 Oh, my hotel!
I know. That was Sybil, wasn't it?
He's Spanish. No, it's rubbish. And Carry On films. Oh, flipping it. Oh no, but no, they're really good. They're really good to Carry On. They're not. They're rubbish.
Tell you what's really not funny.
Yeah.
Confessions of a Window Cleaner.
Linda Bellingham, she gets her boobs out in that, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Hey?
Yeah.
Hey?
Yeah.
Fair play. That's what she would have wanted.
In some of those, in one of them I remember, he's up a ladder looking into a girls' changing room at a school, like girls with uniforms
it's Asquith,
on.
though. A, it's Asquith, and B, it's the 70s. So I don't see what your problem is. You are typical of the liberal lefty BBC that I so often get lumped in with when I want them all to go back home.
What?
The Liberals. I want them all to go back home. To, I don't know, where do they live? Datchet. Islington, North London. Blooming Liberals.
Hey, an account manager has quit her job because she can earn more money doing what? Have a little guess. No, don't guess, because I know what your guess will be.
OK.
Making online videos with her pet guinea pigs.
What?
Guinea pigs.
Guinea pig. Oh.
Guinea pigs are the most, pointless pet, aren't they? Next to goldfish. What are they? They just sit around looking nervous. As far as I can see, Laura Mellor's 29 and her furry friends have had a staggering 10 million views on YouTube, which just goes to show we are morons.
You put you look at any old rubbish on the internet. Look at some of that stuff that Justin Dealey has churned out, and the number of people that go and watch that plum.
She's quit her job with Iain after her hobby began making her around £2,000 a month for a 3-day week.
Hey, I had a little cheeky bonus this week. You speak about Iain.
Yeah.
I got a letter, right, from an electricity company.
Not Iain.
It wasn't Iain, no. But I moved, was it 2 years ago or 3 years ago? It don't really matter. I moved, let's say, 2 years ago, and they said, oh, we owe you 400 quid from when you moved. We'll send you a cheque.
Wow.
And then a cheque arrived.
Because normally they say, we owe you 400 quid, but we'll just pass it on to your bill.
No, different company. I've swapped companies. They said, oh, sorry, we're really sorry. We owe you 400 quid. We should have paid you. Don't know what happened. A cheque's on its way. Bonus.
Have you told anyone about this?
No, I've not told anyone.
Where are you going to spend it on?
I'm probably going to spend it on, I don't know, records. I might reopen my eBay account.
No, don't.
What?
No.
Hey, it'll pay the mortgage, won't it? Huge a hoop, and I've tweeted the link to this. I managed to track this down on eBay. So
it really is a rare crisp.
A woman who found the world's biggest hula hoop at almost 5 inches in her pack has put it on sale on eBay. Now, why is she doing that? Well, a 3-inch hula hoop sold for £712.
What?
So this is really going to go. The price now, it's at £3.99.
But the dimensions are different. It doesn't say 5 inches, does it?
No, it says 3.5 centimetres.
Well, that's not 5 inches.
Oh, flipping heck.
That's significant.
This is a different hula hoop,
This
then.
is that's an inch and a half.
Well, this is described as an amazing rare crisp.
Doesn't sound as amazing as it's cracked up to be.
This is a rare crisp, which is of the hula hoop brand. It's quite a large size compared to normal ones, amazingly, measuring 3.5 centimetres in length. This is certainly a rare crisp that very few will ever see in their lives. There's an email for the person. Shall we email the person?
Do you know what I had once? A Kit Kat with no wafer in it. It was just solid chocolate.
That's bonus. They're worth like £1,000.
We should do... I ate it. Freak snacks. What have you found?
I'm emailing this person. Hang on.
What else have I had? Oh, I've had... What have I had?
You got any more stories?
I'm just thinking of another freak
snack
I should have made some money on.
No.
Yeah, I know what I've had. You know Haribo's, the rings? I had one of those and it was completely solid. It was filled in. You couldn't get it on your finger. I should have sold that.
Would you like to come on my radio this morning before 9 to talk about your large crisp?
Your rare crisp. Rare. Put rare in. T-Mad Parrot is snatched by a raider. This is a local one.
Oh, yeah.
OK, and this is another animal story, everybody.
OK.
I'm going to get into trouble for using this one. A tea-drinking parrot was kidnapped in a raid on its owner's home. Cara Cosson, 45, found African grey Jojo's cage empty after her door was kicked in while she was at work. Stop, this is dramatic. All that remained of the parrot, whose favourite tipple is Earl Grey, fancy,
yeah,
were feathers and a note reading, "If you go to the police, I will kill him." You want to get... Tell you who you want for that. Neeson
will do it. Well, he only does his family, but yeah.
I reckon he's at a loose end at the moment. He'll do a parrot. Nothing else was touched at Cara's home in Oakley, Bedfordshire. Now she fears Jojo, who says want a cup of tea, may have been taken in a revenge plot. Cara said whoever did this must know that taking Jojo is the only thing that could hurt me.
Very quickly, before we go, and we wish that Godspeed back, there was...
Someone's been arrested.
Well done. There was a
bailed.
sketch on television ages ago about backstreet dentists. It was an old day-to-day sketch. Backstreet dentists doing it in alleyways and stuff illegally.
Wow.
Well, it's come true. A dentist treated a patient in a McDonald's restaurant. Anna McAvey attempted to fit a bridge to the female patient. When she declined, the dentist insisted the treatment was necessary and continued the work in a hallway.
What?
Miss McAvey is contesting in the High Court a decision by the General Dental Council to strike her off. She said, "It was too hard to me and I think it was disproportionate. It was a very tough decision." The Romanian had an informal arrangement to use a surgery on an ad hoc basis when she met her patient in a McDonald's. Imagine getting your teeth done in a McDonald's.
Blimey.
It can't be that hygienic.
Also, what have you lost on a night out? A boozy reveller woke up the morning after with part of his nose missing. Chris Watson had felt a flash of pain and thinks a mystery attacker sank his teeth in. Well, he must have been facing him, surely.
Yeah, you really need to learn to look at the clock as a producer.
I know. Chris, 32, had been on such a bender he didn't realise it had happened.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Starting with the trains, Chiltern Railway have possible delays between Amersham and Marylebone because of a problem with line-side equipment earlier. The line has reopened, but the knock-on delays could cause a problem. On the Underground, the Metropolitan line has severe delays because of a signal failure earlier on at Moore Park. And looking at the motorways, the A1M southbound slow around Junction 7 for Stevenage. Also on the M1 southbound, that's very busy around Junction 9 for Redbourne, and it's also very slow on the approach to there on the A5 southbound from Lynch Hill towards the M1 Junction 9 for Redbourne. On the A1 Great North Road southbound, it's very slow approaching the Black Cat roundabout through the roadworks. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Sammy. I believe we've got an update, Kelly Betts, on Tony Blackburn. What's happening?
He'll be here at 7:30 and looks forward to his back run.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you've got a question for Tony Blackburn, we'll try and keep him for half an hour. You can give us a call and have a chat with him. Be nice, wouldn't it?
Lovely.
No, all right. Also, what's under your bed and where do you hide the knives? 08459 455 555.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 7 o'clock. I'm Simon Oxley. The headlines: Yarlswood workers suspended after undercover filming. Public officials could be jailed for not preventing child sex abuse. And Bedfordshire police inspector fined for assault.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
A worker at Yarlswood Immigration Detention Centre in Bedfordshire has been suspended after a guard was secretly filmed calling inmates caged animals. The footage was filmed by an undercover reporter for Channel 4 at the centre run by private firm Serco. The company say they've ordered an independent review. The Home Office say these are serious and disturbing allegations. Bedford councillor Louise King chairs the local Yarlswood Health Review Committee.
It was certainly very shocking. It didn't make very pleasant viewing at all, and I was really distressed to see women being referred to in those horrible terms. I don't think all of Serco staff treat the women within the detention centre in that way, but I certainly think that there needs to be some action taken swiftly.
Senior public officials and councillors could face up to 5 years in prison if they fail to prevent child sexual exploitation, under proposals being outlined by David Cameron later. At a summit at Number 10, he'll say the government wants to extend the crime of willful neglect to also cover social care and education. Today will also see the publication of what's expected to be a damning report into the grooming and abuse of teenage girls by men in Oxfordshire. Police in Buckinghamshire say officers involved in the death of a man in High Wycombe in 2008 will face a misconduct hearing as soon as possible. Yesterday, an inquest into the death in custody of Habib Ullah returned a verdict of misadventure. Police will today continue to question two people who've been arrested on suspicion of the murder of 16-year-old Becky Watts. The teenager vanished from her home in Bristol 11 days ago. 3 properties have been searched. A Bedfordshire police inspector has been fined £500 for assaulting a woman but has been cleared of sexual assault. Paul Kelly has been suspended from duty while Bedfordshire police carry out an internal review. More from Jane Killick.
Kelly, who's 44 and was based at Bedford before his suspension, hit the woman in London in 1998, causing an injury to her eye. A jury found him guilty of assault occasioning actual bodily harm, but cleared him of 6 sexual offences alleged to have taken place between 1996 and 2003. The trial took place in December, but can only now be reported after prosecutors decided not to proceed with a second trial.
Bedfordshire police say a series of robberies at the weekend where shop assistants were threatened at knife point could be linked. On Saturday, alcohol and cigarettes were stolen from a shop in Albert Road in Luton. Then on Sunday, there were similar robberies in the High Street in Dunstable, in Slip End, in Wellington Street in Luton, and then in Kensworth. In sport, there's a full Football League programme tonight with more key matches for our promotion-challenging sides. Watford host Fulham, MK Dons are at home to Chesterfield, Luton go to Bury, Stevenage host Plymouth, Wickham are away to Tranmere. The weather: scattered showers this morning, sunny spells this afternoon, a maximum temperature 9 degrees Celsius, and you can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
Thank you, Simon. Morning, Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. So, the latest on Yarlswood and the revelations there. Detainees being referred to as caged animals and worse. Also, what's under your bed? Where do you hide the knives? And at 7:30, Blackburn's coming in for a chat. If you've got any questions for him, you can start texting them in now. 81333. Start your text 3CR.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
I've got a dude looks like a lady update.
Oh, yeah.
This is from a texter who's not put his name on, but I'm willing to take his word for it. Dude Looks Like a Lady is about Steven Tyler and Joe Perry on a night out in LA, looking at a girl with long blonde hair and tight jeans at the bar and commenting how hot she was. Then the girl turns round and it was Vince Neil, the lead singer with Motley Crue.
Oh, the dude looks like a lady. Ah.
David in Marsh Farm reckoned Tony Blackburn's dog was called Arnold.
Yes, that makes sense.
And Gaz in Bedford says, freak snacks, car park confusion, about how about accurate weather or travel? LOL, Gaz in Bedford.
Lol.
Is Gaz having a dig?
Yeah, but it's a funny one.
Hang on a minute.
Laughing at the same time.
Hang on a minute, Gaz. How long will it take me to get to Bedford after the show? Could I be there by 9:40?
Yeah.
Right, fine. OK, Gaz, well, you better start hiding now, brother. Because I'm going to just have a word.
LOL.
Ruffle.
across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Now, the Home Office has ordered an investigation at Bedfordshire Yarlswood Detention Centre following a Channel 4 expose last night. Undercover reporters filmed staff. Here are two members of the Serco management team talking about the detainees.
They're all animals, depraved animals. Right, take a sticker with you, you beat them up.
Some of those women in there, they're horrible. They're really, really horrible. They're evil. Mm-hmm. You know, and there's a lot of them that are really nice, right? But some of them, these black women, they're f***ing horrible, man.
Some bits you may not have heard there. They're animals. They're all animals. Take a sticking with you and beat them up. And they're really horrible, evil. The black women are effing horrible. Gosh. Yarlswood, which holds nearly 400 detainees, mostly women, has been plagued by accusations about the behaviour of the guards since it opened in 2001. Well, Heather Jones is a regular visitor to the facility as a member of the Yarlswood Befrienders group. Morning, Heather.
Good morning.
What's your reaction to the clip we've just played and the whole piece on Channel 4 last night?
Well, it was really shocking, wasn't it? Not especially surprising. I have heard things... I have had reports of things like that said to me before, generally by escorting staff rather than Serco staff. It must be very hard for many of the staff who do have very good relationships with the staff, the detainees there. Many of the women say that the staff are very nice. They'll acknowledge that they're doing a job. And I see some very positive reactions between them. So to actually hear that was really very shocking.
What are some of the stories you've been told then, Heather?
A lot there. There have been some very difficult circumstances for people who have been taken to the airport and perhaps then returned later. People who are very frightened of return. The parliamentary inquiry into detention, where the report was released today, has some very strong things to say about a whole radical shift in the current practice. And the report on the Channel 4 yesterday does rather suggest that that is very much needed. It is extremely difficult being in detention, even if people don't fit the refugee criteria, even if they've committed crimes. Many of them have experienced trauma. They may be anxious about return. Many have lived in the country for a very long time, and their lives and family are totally disrupted. They don't know how long they're going to be there. Living with that sort of uncertainty is extremely difficult. Detention isn't set up to deal with people for long periods. There's nothing to do.
Heather, when we've spoken about Yarlswood a lot on this show, and there, a couple of people have phoned in the past. Let me put their point of view to you. It's not necessarily mine, but these people are here illegally. Why should we care how they're treated and what happens to them?
They're human beings. They're not there because they don't have any claim. Some of them will go on to get refugee status or leave in some manner or another. They are not criminals. They are not guilty. It's just no way to treat human beings. It's not something this society should be proud of.
Should the women be detained at Yarlswood? What alternatives are there, Heather?
Well, there are alternatives. We're the only country that detains such large numbers of people for such indefinite periods of time. Decisions to detain should be very rare and for the shortest possible time only. There are alternatives. Many people who are claiming asylum are living in the community. They are reporting regularly. If it is thought that there is an absconding risk, there are tagging. There are other methods used throughout the year where people, out the world rather, who can keep track of people in that way. We have the report details that between 2011 and 2014, £15 million was paid out for unlawful detention in compensation. £15 million. It costs £164 million a year to keep people in detention. Can nobody think of better ways that that money can be spent? People living in the community can be helped, given support for a much less cost. Yesterday I visited 2 women, one of whom has been in detention since July, one from November. Neither of them are any risk to this country. Why are they detained? We're seeing much more elderly people detained. What are the chances of them absconding?
Heather, really good to talk to you and get your perspective on it. Thank you. Heather Jones, regular visitor to Yarlswood as a member of the Yarlswood Befrienders Group. Chris is on the line. Morning, Chris.
Morning, Ian. How you going?
I'm going all right, girl. What you got?
Well, remember I was telling you before I used to be a custody officer on transport. I used to take people back and forth.
Yes.
Unfortunately, I think a lot of the problem is due to the fact that management do not encourage compassion amongst officers.
Oh.
The self-harming, I'd be very careful on that, because I do know of a case of a prisoner, not a detention person, but a prisoner who was once stabbed twice in the abdomen, taken to hospital. Obviously, he was angry with the governor that came up to see him and told the governor that he would be suing him for a lack of duty of care. The next thing, the guy had his category, because they're putting categories A to D, A being the highest, D being the least risk, and he was a Cat C, and he got bundled up to a Cat B, and said the reason that he was done that was he stabbed himself and was planning to escape with the assistance of armed persons from a prison, and no escape attempt was ever made, yet it was the word of this governor.
Oh, so because he was a bit bolshy with the governor, you think he got bumped up a bit?
Oh no, I know he got bumped up. He got all his privileges, everything taken off him and shoved up. And it's not an unusual thing in the whole system. Personally, I do think the people that are the most compassionate in the officer line are the ones that get picked on, and they're sort of shunned by their others, because there is a lot of bad things go on in that system, and it's a case of they put their uniform on and think they're Adolf Hitler, some of them.
Chris, can I ask you a question? It's going to sound flippant, right? But it genuinely isn't flippant.
Go on then.
Have you ever fallen in love with any of the prisoners?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Like properly in love?
Not while I was working, yeah.
What happened?
It was frowned upon. I was pulled in for, I wrote to him, that's all I did.
This was after you'd left the service or when you were still working?
No, I was still working, but I was writing to him, but I wasn't writing about my job.
Yeah.
Right? And I wasn't writing about doing any crimes or anything. It was just normal letters because he wanted to know what was going on outside of prison, and he had no one else to write to him.
Yeah.
My company found out that I'd written to him. I got pulled up, and the questions I was asking him were unbelievable. It was like, have you ever had sex with him?
Oh.
You know, I couldn't. How could I? I was under surveillance any time that I'd seen him, and I'd only seen him twice. It was through the letters that I started caring for him.
Yeah.
Right? And I got pulled in, and I had a 4-hour investigation, to which they asked me, had I ever had sex with him, and I thought it was their right to know that I hadn't.
Yeah.
Right? Because that would have been on duty, and it would have been my abusing my position.
Yeah.
Right? And then the next question I got asked was, would I like to have sex with him?
Oh, blimey.
And he was on a 12-year sentence, which was a bit of a stupid question, really. And I said, well, that's fantasy. How would I know what I want to do? I said, at the moment, he's just a pen friend. You know what I mean? So they pursued it with me on fantasy questions, and I got really fed up. And then I said, you know, when people have done their time, they've paid for their crime.
Yeah.
And according to them, I was not allowed, I told you this before.
Yeah.
The interview came to a point where they said, you're not allowed to associate with ex-criminals. And I said, well, I've got cousins that are ex-criminals, remember?
Yeah, I do remember,
And they said, well, I said, if I was at a family party, would I then have to leave if they turn up? And they said, yes. And I said, well, see, you don't own me. and you can shove your job where the sun don't shine. You know me, I'm that kind of a girl. But
Is that fella still in prison?
Yeah.
Okay. Would you like to have sex with him?
Oh, I don't know. You know what I
You
mean?
don't have to answer that, Chris. Chris, listen.
I've not seen his pendage.
What?
I'm not.
Oh, for goodness sake! Thank you, Chris.
I thought she was talking about his pen. I don't think she was.
Yeah, let's assume she was. Well, there you go. You see, I felt silly asking that question, and I was even laughing as I asked it because I thought it was a silly one. But no, yeah. Have you ever fallen in love with a prisoner? Yeah, of course. It's good, isn't it? Thanks, Chris. 08459 455 555. Have you ever fallen in love with a prisoner?
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the A1 Great North Road, that's starting to look very slow southbound from the St Neots Junction towards the Black Cat roundabout through the roadworks. In Cheshunt on the A10 southbound, that's looking slow from the New River Trading Estate towards the M25 Junction 25 for Enfield. And looking at the cameras on the M25, it's starting to get very busy between Junction 17 for Maple Cross and 15 for the M4. On the A1M southbound, that's looking very slow from Junction 3 for St Albans to the Junction 1 for the M25. And on the trains, Chiltern Railway are reporting 10-minute delays between Amersham and Marylebone. That's because of a problem with the line-side equipment earlier on, and there are still severe delays on the Metropolitan line. Samantha Breath, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Sammy. 7:16. It's Tuesday, the 3rd of March. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. A worker at Yarlswood Immigration Detention Centre in Bedfordshire has been suspended after a guard was secretly filmed calling inmates caged animals. Teachers, social workers and counsellors could face up to 5 years in prison if they ignore suspicions of child sexual abuse. And police in Buckinghamshire say officers involved in the death of a man in High Wycombe in 2008 will face a misconduct hearing as soon as possible.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Sport!
Tuesday nights are made for live football, and tonight is no different. Watford are at home to Fulham.
The goal edge of the box goes round the goalkeeper and puts Watford in front.
MK Dons host Chesterfield.
Shot from Quick, it's a really good goal from MK Dons and it's come early in this game.
Luton make the trip to Bury.
There are a crowd of players and it's a third goal for Luton Town.
And Stevenage take on Plymouth.
He drills it low and Stevenage take the lead.
Choose which game you want to listen to in Three Counties Sport. Tonight from 7 here on BBC Three Counties Radio.
We got any texts, Boyle?
Yes.
81333. Start your text 3CR.
We have. Hang on, let me find them.
Oh, sorry.
Oh yeah, I've had a tweet from Kyle, who's also found a solid Kit Kat. So we're in the same
They're
gang.
worth thousands of pounds. You shouldn't eat those.
Freak snacks. Have you ever eaten one? And would you think to put it online? Because apparently that's the way forward.
Okay.
700 quid for a big hula hoop.
Okay. Have we got any good texts?
We haven't got any texts.
Thank you very much indeed. Now, we've been following the story of a number of Sandy families who've been told to remove ornaments and trinkets from their loved ones' graves. It started when the town council left notes on each plot giving them a deadline to comply, after which time all the objects would be chucked in the bin. Well, last night, Sandy Town Council held a meeting to agree on the new rules. Trixie Smith, who has family buried at the cemetery, was there. Morning, Trixie.
Morning.
What happened at last night's meeting?
They've decided to remove the word plastic, which means you can have, and they said you can now have a solar light, only one.
Right.
And you can have plastic ornaments or trinkets on the graves, so long as it's on the plinth, which is fair enough.
OK.
But they still haven't got guards on their strimmers, which is the next thing.
Oh, blimey.
You know, they keep insinuating this little cup thing, like a quarter of the way up the strimmer, is a guard, and it's not a guard.
Why is... Just remind some people why that's so important.
Well, because when they're strimming round the graves, on the headstones, it's actually the string from the strimmer that's flipping stuff off the headstones.
Right.
So even if you comply with their rules and say, yes, it's all on the headstone plinth, you know, it's still going to get flicked off by this bloody strimmer with no guard on it, because it's, you know, it's not protecting the headstone from the strimmer itself.
So, Trixie, do you now know what you can and what you can't put on the graves?
Well, apparently we can have anything that's not breakable. Look, we can't have glass.
Okay.
Or ceramic, or which is fair enough.
Yeah.
We understand all that. But one of the things that we were fighting for is like plastic, because people do put small plastic things on there, like, you know, what the grandchildren have brought back from the holiday or something, put on their nan's grave, or,
yeah,
or they put a little windmill on there or something. So, there's not many things these days that you can't, that are not bloody plastic.
So are you, Trixie, happy with the decisions that they've made, the compromise that's been reached?
Yeah.
Yeah, and was that the general mood last night, that everyone's like, okay, well done, we can go with this?
People power, we think, one of the day.
Yeah.
So hopefully, but I won't be celebrating until I see it in writing. I don't want any backtracking from this either.
No.
And I think they realise that. But
it's taken a long time to get to this point, hasn't it?
I know, whatever. Why did it take so long?
Trixie, do you know what? I'm trying to work out, what have you got on in the background?
Oh, sorry, it's the TV.
No, it's all right. I was trying to work out what it is. What are you watching?
God, I don't know.
It sounds like a film.
Well, Alan Quaterman.
Oh, blimey, yeah. Oh, look at nice. All right, Trixie, well, listen, I'm glad it's a good result for everybody. Just let us know how things go on and if they change their minds or not.
Yeah, I will do, yeah.
Trixie, thank you very much indeed. I feel like I should play a horn or something, but I know that's JVS's territory. Oh, no, hang on, we've got a horn somewhere. Hang on, I've got a horn. Here we go. No, that's not it. No, that's not it. No, that's... Here it is. There we go. There we go. Leslie's in Luton. Good morning, Leslie.
Good morning, Iain. Whatten.
Sorry?
Whatten.
I don't... Whatten?
Yes, man, what's happening?
Well, why don't you say Wagwan?
Well...
Whatten. No, I like Whatten. No, I like Whatten. Hang on. Shh, let me try. Hang on a minute, Leslie. Stay there. Shh. Hey, Kelly.
Yeah.
Whatten.
Nothing.
Hang on.
Oh, she knows.
Yeah, she knows. Hang on. Let me try. Okay. Catherine.
Yeah.
Whappen.
Pardon?
Yeah, you see, she don't know, does she, Les?
No.
Old lady, isn't it? Whatten. Hey, you've not called in for a while. Have you been in prison?
No, I've been around.
Okay.
Not prison. Just around.
Just around, eh? Mysterious.
Yeah.
Ducking and diving.
I heard you guys went and see some very colourful movie the other day.
We did what? What?
Colourful movie. You went and see some colourful movie.
We went to see a very colourful movie.
Called something shady.
50 Slim Shadies of Grey.
Yeah.
It was very, very, very naughty, Leslie. Very naughty film.
I'll give you a cheaper version.
Oh, yeah, go on.
You can get better than that on your Moby.
Oh, yeah? I mean, Moby?
Yeah.
Moby Dick?
No, your mobile.
Oh, the mobile. I thought, where are we going with that? Blimey. Okay. What's the website, Les?
Pardon?
What's the website? I'll have a look.
Well, just stop in anything. Anything comes up.
Anything comes up. That's what we're hoping. Well, thanks for that tip, Les. Anything else?
Yeah, you mentioned about...
Are you just jealous that we didn't invite you to come and watch 50 Shades with us?
No, I wouldn't want to.
Yeah.
Why would I waste my money to see that nonsense?
You can watch it on your Moby.
Yeah, exactly.
Good lad, Leslie. Go on.
Yeah, you mentioned guinea pigs are boring.
Yes. What?
Guinea pigs are boring. You mentioned that this morning.
Dinner pigs?
Guinea pigs.
Dinner pigs?
Yeah.
Dinner pigs?
Guinea pigs.
Oh, guinea pigs. Yeah, they're boring, mate.
No, they ain't.
Yes, they are.
I used to
breed them.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
They're so small. I mean, how would?
They, I used to mad about guinea pigs. So between me and my friend, we saved up 5 shillings and we bought 2.
I'm hoping this story continues.
Yeah, and we bought 2, and the 2 went to 4. And when I was coming to England in 1967, I gave my friend 2 and kept the 2 little ones. I would rather have rabbit, but rabbit was too expensive to buy. They were 10 shillings a pair. Right? So guinea pig is not boring. Guinea pig is a nice little pet, and you want to try rate some yourself.
What? How big are the eggs?
What eggs? Oh, the little babies.
The little eggs. When the mummy guinea pig lays an egg before it hatches, how big are they?
I've never seen one. Have you?
A guinea pig egg, yeah.
Whereabouts?
Well, when it comes out of a lady guinea pig's bottom.
Really?
Yes, mate. They lay an egg and then it hatches into a guinea pig.
Well, I've never known of that. I've heard of it.
Sorry?
I've never known I've heard of it.
You've heard of it?
No, never.
Well, that's what. Well, how did you get yours then?
Well, they just have babies like rabbits or.
Oh, maybe the
guinea pigs.
Maybe the eggs broke inside her. Yeah, they could. They eat the egg inside the mummy, don't they? Sometimes. Well, Leslie, if anything, you've proven to me that guinea pigs are really boring.
Oh, that's your opinion of it all, isn't it?
Yeah.
As I said, you want to try raising yourself and you'll see the difference.
I want to try doing what to myself?
Raise some yourself.
No, I'm not going to. I tell you, because rabbits are boring.
No, and you must never put a guinea pig with a rabbit. Now, when I was...
No, you're supposed to.
No.
Hamster.
No.
No, you're supposed to. They're supposed to have friends.
No. One of my friends got really told off by an animal expert, let's call it a vet, for putting a rabbit in with a guinea pig, because we were raised to do that, weren't we?
Yeah, you're supposed to, so it's got company.
No. The rabbit will abuse the guinea pig.
Got any questions for Tony Blackburn, Les?
Oh, he's gone.
Leslie? Oh, that's a bit weird, isn't it?
What was that word he said?
Dinner pig.
No. Whop.
Wappen.
Wappen.
He's my favourite person.
He comes and goes, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He's like the mist. He'll come and he'll go, and sometimes he'll be there, and sometimes he won't be. Hey, there's a great picture, and this was on Twitter yesterday. When hotel guest Diane Murray ordered cheese and biscuits to round off her meal, nothing better than a cheese plate, is there? She was looking forward to crackers and a slice or two of tangy farmhouse cheddar.
Oh, yeah.
But with with chefs such as Heston Blumenthal experimenting with ever more unusual flavour combinations, it seems diners should be wary when ordering even the most ordinary of dishes. This picture is so good. When it arrived, her platter was filled with wedges of brie, cheddar, red Leicester, there's the cheese, and a scattering of bourbons, custard creams and jammy Dodgers. There's your biscuits. And it's like a bowl, and it's all just kind of tossed in there. It's like a cheese and biscuit salad.
Those tins, the tea time selection, that's what they've emptied out onto the plate with the cheese, isn't it?
A picture of the bizarre sweet and savoury mix posted online by Mrs. Murray's stepdaughter Steph Kerr was shared tens of thousands of times around the world. And it had a great caption, didn't it? If you need cheering up, here's a photo of the time my stepmum asked for cheese and biscuits at a hotel.
Yeah.
Fair play. It looks all right, actually.
I'd have a go.
A bit of brie and a jammy Dodger. I could make that work.
Yeah, I'd like that.
Yeah, nice.
I could make that work.
Oh, did you just see he walked past?
Is it TB?
Yeah.
Right, Tony Blackburn's coming in. 08459 4... Hey! He'll be in after past. 08459 455 555. Now is your chance to have exclusive chat with a broadcasting legend.
And Tony Blackburn.
Oh, mate, don't. You can't do that.
He's outside. He can't hear anything.
Oh, yeah, fair play. Well, even if he was inside, he'd struggle to hear much, wouldn't he? Tony Blackburn's going to be in for a bit. If you want to ask him any questions, genuine questions, 08459 455 555. This man has worked with everybody. Kelly, you know what to do.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Starting with the trains, Virgin are reporting 10-minute delays through Lichfield Trent Valley because of a signalling problem, and Chiltern Railway are also reporting possible 10-minute delays between Amersham and Marylebone because of a problem earlier on. On the Metropolitan line, there are still severe delays because of a signal failure at Moore Park, and on the roads, the A1 Great North Road's looking very slow from the St Neots Junction towards the Black Cat roundabout through the roadworks, and on the motorways, the M1 southbound's very slow around junction 9 for Redbourne, and the M25 anti-clockwise is very busy now between junction 21 for the M1 and 19 for Watford. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 7:30. I'm Simon Oxley. A worker at Yarlswood Immigration Detention Centre in Bedfordshire has been suspended after a guard was secretly filmed calling inmates caged animals. The footage was filmed by an undercover reporter for Channel 4 at the centre run by private firm Serco. Teachers, social workers and counsellors could face up to 5 years in prison if they ignore suspicions of child sexual abuse. And police in Buckinghamshire say officers involved in the death of a man in High Wycombe in 2008 will face a misconduct hearing as soon as possible. Yesterday, an inquest into the death in custody of Habib Ullah returned a verdict of misadventure.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
There's a full Football League programme tonight with more key matches for our promotion-challenging sides. Watford could welcome back leading scorer Odion Ighalo at home to Fulham in the Championship, with manager Slavisa Jokanovic aiming to build on the win at Leeds.
We must improve, definitely. We can improve. It's our obligation. If we want to be a serious team, we must improve some things in our game.
In League One, Milton Keynes Dons will have new signing Joe Walsh on the bench at home to Chesterfield. The defender has joined from Crawley. In League Two, Luton welcome back skipper Steve McNulty after a 4-match ban as John Still's side go to Bury.
Lots of big games at the moment, lots of important games at the moment. There's going to be ups and downs, teams are going to lose, teams are going to draw, so all you have to do, worry about the game that's coming up, do your best you can. When it's over, let's worry about the next one.
Stevenage will have to make a change up front at home to Plymouth, with striker Chris Beardsley suspended after his red card on Saturday. And third-placed Wycombe go to Tranmere, his manager Gareth Ainsworth.
It's this stage of the season where everyone's beating everyone. People are scrapping for their lives, people are trying to get in the playoffs, people are trying to just consolidate mid-table, and there's going to be plenty of twists and turns yet, believe me, and just hopefully we can be among that top 8, definitely. We want to stay around the playoffs at least.
And you can follow all tonight's action on Three Counties Sport from 7. The Football Association plans to enter men's and women's Great Britain teams for the 2016 Olympics. It had previously ruled out the move. Tributes are being paid to the former Tottenham midfielder Dave Mackay, part of their 1961 double-winning team, who's died at the age of 80. At the Cricket World Cup, Ireland need an unlikely 412 to beat South Africa. And in the Netball Super League last night, Hertfordshire Mavericks lost 56-42 away to the Yorkshire Jets. BBC Three Counties News and Sport. The next full bulletin is at 8.
Call 08459 455 555.
Now, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Ladies and gentlemen, joined by not just a radio legend. No, he's just a radio legend. No, Tony Blackburn, you smell fantastic.
Yeah, Jean-Paul Gaultier.
Jean-Paul Gaultier. Jean-Paul Gaultier.
Do I smell great?
You smell wonderful.
I make the effort for you, particularly on these mornings, and I was very glad when I got invited in, because otherwise that would have all gone to waste.
Well, listen, it's so nice to have you in. The reason we're doing this is you popped in the other week because we were playing some of your songs, and by the way, Chop Chop is now the anthem of this show.
Yeah,
Timber. And we thought it would be nice. We thought it would be nice if you came in and had a proper if we had a proper chat with you.
Yeah.
Because you work everywhere. You work on so many different stations, on the BBC, on commercial, all over the place. But I don't really know anything about you, Tony. And I don't know if people do know anything about you.
Can I just, before we get into this chat... just say that being a music man, I've listened to your show for a long time now.
Yes.
And never had any complaints. Can I make one complaint this morning? Would that be all right if I made just one complaint?
Please do, go on.
Yeah, and I know you like me, don't like getting criticism, because there are loads of people up there that tell you can't do this, you can't do that.
The suits.
And you tell them basically to,
jog on, yes.
And that's fine. But this morning I was enjoying You Can't Get No Satisfaction by the Rolling Stones, and suddenly, right in the middle of it, you went to a damn report, a motorway report. What is more important at this time of the morning? People, all right, traffic jams or coming to the end of the Rolling Stones.
Do you know whose fault that was?
Who was that?
Catherine Ball, the producer.
No.
I had the timing perfectly. We were about to go into travel, and she said, "You got to play a song."
Well,
oh, come on, guys. We all know how it goes. We all know how it goes. You can't.
Again?
There's no one left. That's to beg me.
No, I take that back.
I'm going to put your headphones on.
Yeah.
Justin's on the line as well. Morning, Just.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Now, both of us, genuinely, we got very excited by this. So I'm going to leave your line open, Just.
Fine.
You can chip in whatever you want. Tony, I tell tell you what.
Yep.
I'm gonna. Can I just throw some names at you?
Yes.
First of all, because I'm guessing you've worked with everyone.
Yeah.
And just whatever pops into your head.
Yep.
The Beatles.
The Beatles. Well, I saw the Beatles.
Yeah.
I worked with on Top of the Pops. I've met, let me see, Paul McCartney. I've interviewed Paul McCartney.
Yeah.
Very nice man. And I saw them for the very first time in Bournemouth in 1960 something or other.
Yeah.
At a place that is now a car park. It was the Winter Gardens.
All of these
Bournemouth.
old venues are car parks.
They
now,
are car
or
parks.
Liddles or something.
Well, at least they're useful, aren't they?
What was McCartney like?
Very nice.
Really?
I wrote to him in an email when I worked for another radio station asking him for money, because I reckon over the years I've played loads and loads of their records, and they owe me around about $1.5 million.
Wowzers! And when's that cash coming through?
Well, he didn't reply.
Hey,
yeah,
see.
and I mentioned it to him on the interview, and he said to me, I didn't get your email. So I said, well, if I emailed you again, would that make any difference? And he said no.
What's his email? Paul McCartney at yahoo.co.uk or something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
Kenny Everett.
Kenny Everett, yeah.
Yeah, and what was he like?
Kenny was very, very odd. But he's lovely. Lovely man.
Was he hard work? Because I imagine that people like that and he was brilliant.
Yeah.
But I imagine people like that can be a bit annoying at times, can't they? Just relentless and full on.
He wasn't really annoying. A very shy man. Very, very shy person. And we fell out a little bit, to be honest with you, in 1967. We read in the New Musical Express that we didn't like one another.
Oh.
And which was not true. And he thought that was true, and I tried to make up with him. And then one day we went out with my agent, and it was her 60th birthday, and he loved my wife, Debbie, and he liked her very much indeed, and he spilt some red wine over himself, and he blamed me for it. He said, you did that on purpose. And my wife said, no, he didn't. And he gave me a big kiss, and we made up.
Wow.
And that was about 2 years before he passed away.
Oh, man. Because he was brilliant, wasn't he?
A little bit boring or not?
No, this is great. I'm loving it. Honestly, this is great. He was brilliant, wasn't he? You don't...
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. There aren't any mavericks like him.
No, he was great.
Anymore.
Yeah. He was
People who are trying to do something a little bit different.
Yes, absolutely.
Pirate Radio. How did you get into that?
I loved it. Read an article in the New Musical Express wanting disc jockeys, just applied for the job.
But what were you doing before that?
I was a singer and a musician in a dance band in Bournemouth. At the Bournemouth Pavilion Ballrooms,
right,
and also studying. I've got a diploma in business studies.
Sorry,
I was
really?
Yeah, I'm not as thick as you thought I
was. So you got a diploma?
Yeah, high HND, a high national diploma in business, law and economics and things like that.
So you're a brain box.
Yeah.
But so you're a singer in a band. What instrument were you playing?
Guitar.
Okay. And when was this? Sort of 64?
60. No, this was 1960.
Oh, okay.
60, 70, and 80. Yeah.
And who were your?
No, not 60, 70, 80. 60, 61, 62, and then I joined Radio Caroline.
Okay, so who were your influences musically then, when you were in a
Presley.
band? Really?
Yeah, Elvis Presley. I not only look like him, but I sound like him very much. In fact, I like to think he was influenced a little bit by some of my early recordings.
We'll have some.
That's what I like to think. And Bobby V as well.
Bobby V.
What
did Bobby V sing? Blue Velvet. What was?
Bobby V sang "The Night Has 1,000 Eyes" and things like that. Yeah.
And so you were doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then you just saw an advert saying, "Oh, we want DJs."
Yes.
And you just went
for it? I applied for it, yeah.
What did you have to do in the audition?
I had to introduce 4 records.
Yeah.
And I introduced 4 Beatles records for some reason.
Okay.
And then I went up to Caroline House and I got the job on the Friday and I was on the ship on the Wednesday.
And how long were you out at sea for? How long were the chunks?
We did 2 weeks on and a week off. And so it worked out 9 months a year at sea.
That's it sounds awful.
It was lovely. It was great.
What were the conditions like? What was your room like?
It was a very small little cabin.
Yeah.
And we had it, and it was great out there. I loved it.
Who were you sharing with?
I was sharing with. Somebody that
we can't mention anymore.
Well, it's a little tricky, yes.
Okay, yeah.
And so, and then I shared my cabin with another person that we can't mention very well.
Denning and Savile, I'm assuming. Was it Chris Denning and Savile? Were they the?
No, Chris Denning and somebody starts with D.
Oh, okay, right,
yeah.
okay. Well, we can half mention him.
Yes. No, Savile wasn't out on the ship.
Savile didn't go out on the ship, but Denning was, of course. And
yes.
Well, I've got to ask. It must be weird, and we don't need to go into specifics.
No, it's all right.
But these people that you have worked with,
yes,
getting taken, their horrible pasts coming up. That must be really odd for you to see that happen.
And the only problem with it is, of course, we're all tarred with the same brush a little bit from that era, so everybody waits for you. It's crazy. It's
Lots
crazy.
of episodes of Top of the Pops that can never be shown again.
Well, that's true. Yes.
Here's a question: Gary Glitter. Okay.
Yeah.
And we won't dwell on this too much. We'll get back to the fun stuff.
Yes.
I was a big Gary Glitter fan, huge Gary Glitter fan, and I saw him in concert, and I met him, and what's going on is obviously horrible. But musical history is being rewritten, and if you have a top 10 countdown from 1975, for example, on Radio 2, the host will say, we'll just skip number 9 if it was Gary Glitter. Do you want to touch? They'll just skip it.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Do you think we should erase him completely from musical history? Or?
Well, it's difficult because he was so much a big part of it, wasn't he? And also those songs that he made were terrific for disco dancing and things. Just great songs. I mean, they all sounded the same, rather. Yeah. But he was a great showman, wasn't he? Yeah. I mean, I had no idea. I mean, I was doing Junior Choice at the time. He was a guest on the programme. And it's just tragic. Yeah. People who do those sort of things, well, it's awful. And but it didn't. The thing is that all these people now, it doesn't reflect what it was like in the 60s. No. Because Radio 1, when I went there, it was a beautifully run station. The people were great. Yeah. And it was one of those things. So it wasn't all like that. It just wasn't.
Justin,
yes, boss.
You've taken this to the streets, haven't you?
I have. I've spent the last hour talking to Tony Blackburn fans. Boy, they are special.
Did you find any?
Oh, yes, we found them. We've got 4 questions here coming up for you. Yeah. They get weirder. And we also have a German perspective as part of these questions.
Perspective?
Yes, that is a social question for you. Yeah. But question number 1, we've kind of touched upon it already, but there's a nice compliment in here as well for you. So take a listen to question 1. Tim, you're a huge Three Counties fan. Listen to Iain every morning. Also Tony's show. What is your question to the main man, Tony Blackburn?
What made you do it?
What do you mean by that?
What got you into it in the first place? How did you start?
When you hear his voice on the radio, what does it do to you? Because when I hear it, straight away, it lifts me. What does it do to you?
Yeah, it's very commanding. It's got a presence. It demands your attention.
You're very commanding.
Very commanding.
Very commanding.
Yes, very.
Is this from the German?
I don't think that was the German.
The German perspective is coming, Tony.
I see.
At what point, Tony? Because obviously you were a singer and you released some singles, and then you became what point did kind of DJing take over, and you go, actually, this is what I'm going to do?
Right from the word go.
Really?
I loved it. Yeah.
Why?
Well, you know what it's like. You sit down in front of a microphone, and it's just fun. It's just absolute fun, and I've, I enjoyed talking nonsense.
I ended up.
Not that you do, of course.
Well, no. Most of it. I ended up doing this job by accident. If I'm completely honest, I ended up doing this job because I couldn't get any more TV work. And
really?
Yeah, and then I was offered a gig at LBC, a London station, and I was like, oh yeah, okay. It turned out I really, really enjoyed it, and I'm half decent at it. I think I can kind of just about pull
very
it
good
off.
at it.
Well, but may God bless you, sir. But it seems an odd career to want to follow. I love it now. I'm doing it, but I prefer it over TV. I prefer it over anything else. But it is just messing around, isn't it?
It is. It's messing around. I mean, there are certain stations where you can't do it, and most of the commercial stations won't let you be a personality anymore, unfortunately. Yeah. But BBC were lucky, that people let us get on with it. And there are always people who want to change what you do. And I think the best thing to do, and if I was running a station, I'd say, if you hire somebody for what you do, let them do it, and don't mess around, and don't tell somebody you can't do something.
How did you get the gig from doing pirate radio? Yeah, you were considered to be like pop stars as well, weren't you? The DJs in pirate radio. Is it true that there would be girls waiting at his eyes bulged? You tell me what you want to tell me. That there will be girls waiting at shore for you when you had your little breaks off.
Not
of
in
the
my
ship.
case.
Really? Oh, come on! You were a good fella.
Yes, of course you did. Yes, there were lots of people. We were built up in those days like pop stars. They didn't know what people didn't know what we looked like in those days, of course, until we got on television at Radio 1. But yes, with Radio 1, and it was massive. I mean, we were built up like the pop stars.
And what you were doing was revolutionary because there was people. There are 1,000. You can turn on a digital radio. There are 1,000 music stations. But before the pirate stations, there was nothing. Well, there was the home service or
the light program, the home service, and Radio 3. I started off on the light program with a program programme I used to be on for 3/4 of an hour every week.
Yeah.
A lot of people thought that was too long. And it was called Midday Spin.
And what did you play on Midday Spin?
Well, I played I played pop records.
Yeah.
It was really a tryout for opening up Radio 1. That's what it really was. You know, I had a very a terrific manager called Harold Davison who handled Frank Sinatra and all those people.
Wow.
And when the ships were coming to an end, he said I was introduced to him by a guy called Tony Windsor, who was the head disc jockey on Big L Radio London.
Yeah.
And Harold said to me, he said, I think the time has come to come off the ships. I'd love to manage you, and I'll make you the top disc jockey in 3 months. And I said, well, that would be lovely. And he did it in 2 months.
Wow.
Because he said there's a radio station called Radio 1 opening up, and the BBC
Hold that thought.
Yeah.
I've got to do business,
All right.
as you know. Justin, this is good, isn't it?
It's great. It's fantastic. You never hear Tony talking like
No,
this.
you
It's
never do
brilliant.
at all.
Brilliant.
Justin, stay there. Tony, stay there. I've got to do a little bit of business.
Travel news for beds, cards, and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the A1M southbound, it's very slow between junction 8 for Hitchin and 7 for Stevenage. And looking at the cameras on the M25 anti-clockwise, it's slow from junction 21 for the M1 to junction 19 for Watford. In Beaconsfield on the Amersham Road, that's looking very slow on the speed sensors between Longbottom Lane and London Road. And on the trains, Chiltern Railway are reporting 10-minute delays between Amersham and Marylebone. And Virgin trains are reporting 10-minute delays through Lichfield Trent Valley because of a signalling problem. On the Underground, the Metropolitan line has minor delays now because of a signal failure earlier on at Moore Park. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much indeed. 7:45, these are your news headlines. A worker at Yarlswood Immigration Detention Centre in Bedfordshire has been suspended after a guard was secretly filmed calling inmates caged animals. And teachers, social workers and counsellors could face up to 5 years in prison if they ignore suspicions of child sexual abuse. Coming up, we'll have more from Tony Blackburn, but first of all, let's get the weather. Here's Kate.
Beds, Herts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
1 or 2 showers around this morning, but it looks like in the most part they have cleared out of the way. You may still get 1 or 2 fairly intense ones out towards parts of Bedfordshire, for example, just making their way eastwards. But hopefully within the next hour or so they should have cleared out. We could still get 1 or 2 isolated ones, but you'll be fairly unlucky. It is a drier picture through the rest of the day with some really nice sunny spells. We're hanging on to the brisk westerly wind though, which will make things feel cooler than the predicted 9 Celsius maximum. Overnight tonight, dry and clear. The wind falls a little lighter, just enough to perhaps get a frost out in the countryside. Towns and cities likely to hover above 0. But for tomorrow, a chilly start. The wind is lighter. Some really nice sunny spells tomorrow. And the temperature finally sneaking up into double figures at 10 Celsius as a maximum. That's 50 degrees in Fahrenheit. And that's your forecast.
We're talking about Sky News, dear listeners, where Tony and I both appeared on there reviewing the papers, and it depends what producer you've got as to whether you can do the kind of light-hearted stuff.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Or some go, but we want something a little bit heavier. A little bit heavier, please.
Yeah. I think when you wake up in the morning, you want to have fun. Don't you think so? You don't want to be brought down and depressed.
Not everybody thinks that, judging by the emails and the texts that we get to this show. Biggers is on the line. Morning, Biggers.
Hello, me old muck and me old fruit, me old China.
Hello, boss. You're through to Tony Blackburn.
Oh, the legend that is, yeah?
Yeah, what you got for him?
I've got a 2-part question, if that's okay with Tony. What's his favourite, has he got a favourite, artist or group or whatever band that he's ever met, and has he ever met the King?
No, I haven't. I haven't met Elvis. My favourite artist is Marvin Gaye.
Yeah.
Love Marvin Gaye.
He's a legend as well.
And I love Frankie Beverly and Maze.
Who?
Frankie Beverly and Maze.
I don't know who that is.
Maze. Joy and Pain. Joy and Pain.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know that one?
Yeah, I do know that one.
Thank you, Biggers. You know that one, do you, Kath?
Yeah.
Go on, then.
Well, see, he just sang it perfectly well.
Love is the Key. Yeah, loads of them.
Speaking of foreign language, did you ever meet Marvin Gaye?
No. He's the only Motown act I've never met.
Really?
I've toured with Diana Ross and the Supremes.
Do you mean you've toured with her?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Yeah, I did a national tour with Diana Ross and the Supremes.
What, you singing or you comparing?
No, I wasn't singing.
No, okay.
I wouldn't want to sing with... I was comparing.
She was hard work, wasn't she? She was then she was a bit of a diva, wasn't she?
She was all right. I found her all right, yeah. I mean, she's once again a very shy person. You know, she wears those big dark glasses now. Yeah. She's apparently disappearing behind them now. Every time she comes to the country, they get bigger and bigger.
Smokey Robinson?
Smokey Robinson, I met him this summer, actually. Yeah. He's got the most amazing piercing eyes.
He has, hasn't he? That's the thing.
He's lovely.
The Beach Boys.
The Beach Boys?
Ever met the Beach Boys?
Yeah, I met the Beach Boys.
What were they like?
Fabulous. Yeah, fabulous. I've always found the only person I didn't like was Frankie Valli.
Oh, why? What was Frankie Valli
He was a little so-and-so. I went up to him at Radio 2. At Radio 2, this was, a couple of years ago. Yeah. And the very first record I played was Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons of Big Girls Don't Cry. No, sorry, Rag Doll.
Rag Doll, yeah.
So I went up to him and I said, hello, Mr. Valli. I said, my name's Tony Blackburn. I said, I work here at Radio 2. And I said, the very first record I played was yours, Big Girls Don't Cry. And he couldn't have given a damn.
Really?
He just turned his back. I thought, a little sod. I felt like kicking him in the nuts.
Oh. Oh, what?
I wish I had. He was the right height.
He's wee, isn't he?
He's
wee.
Small.
Justin, you got another question for us? Question 2, please.
Some of these questions are very bizarre, but it leads on nicely from what you were saying there about Frankie Valli and what you wanted to do to him.
Yeah.
Here is question number 2. Mandy, how are you today?
I'm good.
Okay, you have a very important question for Tony. What's your question?
Do you even wear underpants?
Do I what?
I mean, I think, knowing Tony, I think he probably does wear underpants.
Do I wear underpants?
We'll
yes,
put the
I do.
To him.
Do you wear underpants, Tony, or do you go commando?
No, I wear underpants.
Why fronts, boxers, trunks? What have you got?
I've got, I don't know what they are, sort of like a trunk sort of thing. They're very, very good support. Have to be. But I've got a very nice pair of Superman shorts as well, which I wear sometimes.
Well, we've seen you in your onesies.
Oh, yeah, the onesies.
He's constantly wandering around
I love them.
the office in animal... Which ones have you got?
Oh, I've got a tiger one, I've got a Superman one, Batman one. I got everything. I love onesies. I think they're great.
Speaking of pants, Alan's on the line. Morning, Alan.
Morning. How are you, Tony?
Oh,
Tony,
very well, thanks.
You're an absolute legend. In the 80s, I used to follow you around. You used to work for Radio London, didn't you, with Paul Walsh, Steve Walsh?
I still
and
do.
You actually come to Dunstable, didn't you, in the Crown in Dunstable on a Wednesday night?
Well, he's hardly going to remember the exact night that he did it, Alan.
Yeah, it was a Wednesday night.
Oh,
what really made
it was
me
a Wednesday night. It was I was on the stage about midnight.
Yeah. What made me laugh was at the Hammersmith Palais with my girlfriend, and you actually stripped down your underpants, which really made me laugh.
But turn you on a little bit, did it?
No. Well, my girlfriend at the time actually said, "Can you go and get some underpants like Tony Blackburn?"
Why did you do that, Tone?
I just like to.
and Tony, listen. Tony, listen. Talking about Mays, because I like Mays as well. I actually see Mays and Frankie Beverly in the Anaheim Stadium in Los Angeles.
Really?
And what really made me laugh, what really made me thingy, I was the only white guy there.
Well, that is a strange thing, isn't it? He does attract the wider audience a little bit more. Did you ever come to the National Club Kilburn? I used to do every Christmas, and I might do it again this year, actually, the erotic balloon dance.
Yes. I followed you around for 2 seasons because I even remember you done the Dole Soul night out of the Hammersmith Palais.
Yeah.
The only way you get a ticket is if you've got a Dole card. I had to go and borrow my mate's Dole card so I can go get a ticket.
I don't remember that.
Alan's a bit of a stalker. We'll pass it. Alan, thank you. We're going to pass your details on to the police. You did the balloon dance.
No, pass them on to me. I need all the stalkers I can get nowadays.
So the Radio 1 gig, the Pirates, they kind of managed to sort of close them down or make them almost redundant.
Yes.
Radio 1. Was it breakfast you were doing on Radio 1?
Yeah, breakfast show. I did the first breakfast show.
That must have been because the eyes of the world were on that.
Well, 20 million audience every morning. You know, it was eye-boggling, really.
Flipping heck.
Yeah. But there was nothing else to listen to. Really?
Yeah.
You know, no commercial radio, no local BBC stations in those days. There was just Radio 2, which, funnily enough, in those days, it wasn't the biggest one. It is now, of course. Yeah.
Well, how long did you do the breakfast show for?
5 years. Then, annoyingly, Noel Edmonds appeared.
People forget that he was big on the radio as well.
Yeah, he was, and very, very good as well, you know.
How long did you stay at Radio 1 for? At what point did you get booted out, or did you leave?
I sort of got booted out, really. Right. When your contract isn't renewed, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
I found out from the commissioner at the BBC. I went in one morning.
The fella on the door?
Yeah, and he said to me, "Oh, Tony, we are going to miss you." And I didn't know anything about it.
That's terrible.
Well, at least I knew then.
And it is part of the business. People come in and out of fashion, and the last job I left was Absolute, and the fella said, "We're not going to renew your contract." And I shook his hand and thanked him for the opportunity and walked out and had a little cry. And that's kind of what it is.
The main thing is not to get into an argument with somebody who sacks you, because eventually they re-employ you again. It's happened to me over and over again.
It all goes in a cycle.
Yeah.
You became, and I hope you don't mind me saying this,
No,
you did become a bit of a joke for a while with the whole smashy nicey
Absolutely, yeah.
thing. That must have been quite tough. Was that tough for
not
you?
really, because I think the thing is that I used to get terrific audiences on Radio 1, but nobody liked me. And, because, you have these evaluation figures. You get terrific figures, but everybody's irritated by you. It's changed round now a little bit. And so people have sort of got used to me now.
But you don't get many figures?
They do. Yeah, no, actually, I'm very lucky. I luckily get the figures as well now on Radio 2, which is lucky. No, I think what it is that I used to go out there as a young guy at 24, 25, stand on a stage and say, I'll stand here a moment and let you admire me. Now, I was joking. Now I do it, and they see, I've practically fallen apart. It's practically a dead man walking, and you sort of, and they get the joke. But I've never taken myself seriously. You see.
Justin, the dog was Arnold, I think. Was it Arnold?
Arnold the dog.
Was that
yes.
Arnold the dog?
Well, yeah, Arnold the dog. Yeah, he's dead, unfortunately. But I've had him stuffed, and he's nodding in the back of the car.
Did you mount him?
No, I've never No.
Catherine, you're waving your hand.
Yeah, I've got a text here from Ev in Luton who claims, and I want you to verify this for me, he saw you at Kilburn and you stopped Stevie Wonder walking off the stage.
On the very first, it was my idea, these Soul Nights Out, and the very first night, Stevie Wonder turned up out of the blue. And Dave Pearce, who was the guy who was in charge of getting the acts on and off, he came onto the stage and he said to me, Stevie Wonder's turned up. He came on to thank me for playing Motown records. Wow. And he said he'd like to come on and sing. And I said, fabulous. And I did do a number with him.
Did you sing with Stevie Wonder?
Yeah.
What did you sing?
I can't remember now.
But he wasn't going to walk off the stage and you saved his life?
No.
That didn't happen?
No.
Okay.
No.
Dilly
he just came on and sang and then he went off.
Do you remember what you sang with him?
I can't remember, actually, but he was slightly out of tune.
He made you look bad.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
exactly.
Justin, question number 3, please.
Yeah, all about the length, and this one's quite a good one, actually. Here is question number 3.
Oh, dear.
Anne, you are a huge Tony Blackburn fan, aren't you? What is your question for the T-Dog back in our studio?
What's the longest song he's ever played?
The longest song?
What's that?
The MacArthur Park. That's quite a long song.
What's the longest
Richard Harris.
song
We'll put the question to him.
I've got a record.
And I think we'll also ask him, was there a reason that he played a long song? Was he feeling unwell?
Okay.
Thank you very much.
What's the longest song you've ever played, Tony? Was it so you could nip out for a wee or something?
No, that one is always for, let me see, it's Queen, Bohemian Rhapsody, which is a very, very good record. It's a very long record. And I actually told, who's the singer?
Freddie Mercury.
No, not Freddie Mercury.
Brian May.
Brian May, that's right. My wife's very friendly with his wife, and I told Brian May that I'd never heard the record because I use it to go out and have a wee, which is true because I don't like Bohemian Rhapsody very much.
I don't like Bohemian Rhapsody, and it's always voted the #1 song.
Rubbish, right? No, it's not rubbish, right? It's a silly thing to say that.
How old are you now? 73?
72.
72?
Yeah.
You're working probably, I would imagine, in terms of radio shows you do, more than you have ever done.
Yeah, I'm doing quite a few, which I love it. Yeah.
Kelly,
the longest record, by the way, The Crown.
Yeah. Oh, Gary Bird.
Yeah, Gary Bird.
Kelly,
goes on for 12 minutes.
Tell me, Tony Blackburn was talking to you once about the stations he was working at, and
yeah, you were listing all the stations that you worked for, and I think you got to about 5, and you couldn't remember the 6th one. You were like, oh, what, where is it? And I said, is it this one where you're standing? And you were like, yeah.
Did you ever?
This is the most important one.
God bless you. You must have never thought that you'd be working this much at 72, 73.
No, not really.
You going to quit?
No. I really, I couldn't bear the thought of retiring. No.
We want to hope that fader's open when you croak it. It's what he would have wanted.
That's an awful thing to say, but in a strange sort of way, it's very flattering.
We got time for the very last question, Justin. Yeah. Shall I just press play?
Yeah,
Here we go.
Let's get the German perspective. Jürgen, also a big Tony Blackburn fan, half a century as a broadcaster. What is your question to Tony Blackburn?
How do you think the society in England has changed over the last 20 years?
20 years?
Or 10 years, 5 years.
20, 10 or 5? 5. Okay, we'll put that question to him. Thank you very much.
Okay.
It's a great German perspective.
How has the society changed in the last 5, 10 or 20 years?
Well, that's deep, isn't it? Why are all Germans called Jürgen? I think probably we're not as kind to one another, and we don't have the as we used to be. I think that's it. And we don't respect one another quite as much. It's a shame, I think.
You are on what? Do you probably don't know what time you're on this station? Do you? What time is it on? 9 o'clock on Saturdays?
9 o'clock on Sunday.
On Sundays.
Yes.
Tony, it's been you're such a nice place.
Thank you very much.
Justin and I
do it again, boss. We've got to do this again.
Anytime we have been 15-year-old fanboys. Literally, I can't believe he's going to come in. I can't believe we're going to have a proper chat with him. Tony, it's such a pleasure to work with you, boss.
Thank you, Ian.
You're a legend. Let's get some of this.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
In High Wycombe on Marlow Hill, it's looking very slow in both directions. On the A1M southbound, it's looking very busy between junction 8 for Hitchin and 7 for Stevenage. And the M25 anti-clockwise is very busy too, from junction 21 for the M1 towards junction 19 for Watford. On the trains, Virgin are reporting 10-minute delays through Lichfield Trent Valley because of a signalling problem. And on the Underground, the Metropolitan line has minor delays because of the signal failure earlier on at Moore Park. Samantha Braff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much. Don't worry, Tony's keeper has come and escorted him off the premises. How cool was that, huh? Thank you for all of your questions. Let's get the news. Here's Simon.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 8 o'clock. The headlines: Yarlswood worker suspended after undercover filming. Public officials could be jailed for ignoring abuse. And Watford MP highlights school's recruiting problem.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
A worker at Yarlswood Immigration Detention Centre in Bedfordshire has been suspended after a guard was secretly filmed calling inmates caged animals. The footage was filmed by an undercover reporter for Channel 4 at the centre run by private firm Serco. The company say they have ordered an independent review. The Home Office say these are serious and disturbing allegations. Bedford Councillor Louise King chairs the local Yarlswood Health Review Committee.
It was certainly very shocking. It didn't make very pleasant viewing at all, and I was really distressed to see women being referred to in those horrible terms. I don't think all of Serco staff treat the women within the detention centre in that way, but I certainly think that there needs to be some action taken swiftly.
Teachers, social workers and counsellors could face up to 5 years in prison if they ignore suspicions of child sexual abuse. The Prime Minister will outline the tougher sanctions at a summit which will coincide with the publication of what's expected to be a damning report into the grooming and abuse of teenage girls in Oxfordshire. Police in Buckinghamshire say officers involved in the death of a man in High Wycombe in 2008 will face a misconduct hearing as soon as possible. Yesterday, an inquest into the death in custody of Habibullah returned a verdict of misadventure. Police will today continue to question two people who've been arrested on suspicion of the murder of the teenager Becky Watts. The 16-year-old vanished from her home in Bristol 12 days ago. A Bedfordshire police inspector has been fined £500 for assaulting a woman but has been cleared of sexual assault. Paul Kelly has been suspended from duty while Bedfordshire police carry out an internal review. More from Jane Killick.
Kelly, who's 44 and was based at Bedford before his suspension, hit the woman in London in 1998, causing an injury to her eye. A jury found him guilty of assault occasioning actual bodily harm, but cleared him of 6 sexual offences alleged to have taken place between 1996 and 2003. The trial took place in December, but can only now be reported after prosecutors decided not to proceed with a second trial.
The MP for Watford says a school in the town is suffering recruitment problems because it's unable to offer competitive salaries. Richard Harrington told Parliament the Grove Academy falls just outside the London waiting pay zone. Schools Minister Nick Gibb said the government's introduced measures to help schools in this situation.
And our reforms are providing schools with the very real discretion that they need to address any school-level recruitment and retention problems that they may have. But as my honourable friend also knows, decisions about the definitions of inner and outer London and the London fringe area are ultimately a matter for the independent school teachers review body.
In sport, there's a full Football League programme tonight with more key matches for our promotion-challenging sides. Watford host Fulham, MK Dons are at home to Chesterfield, Luton go to Bury, Stevenage host Plymouth, Wycombe are away to Tranmere. The weather, scattered showers this morning, sunny spells this afternoon, a maximum temperature 9 degrees Celsius, and you can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3counties.
Oh, man. How cool was that? Thank you, Tony. It is a cracking show. Sunday mornings, 9 o'clock, BBC Three Counties Radio. He smells wonderful. Wonderful.
Jean-Paul Gaultier.
I know what we're doing. Hang on a second. Right.
Across beds,
Here we go.
hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Nice smellers. Call me now. 08459 455 555. Ozzy Osbourne. He smells wonderful.
Does he?
Oh, he smells wonderful. I never smelled anybody so fragrant as Ozzy.
See, I would think he'd smell a bit clammy.
No. He smelled absolutely wonderful.
So we could do nice smell, nasty smell, because I bet you've smelled a nasty celebrity in your time.
I'm trying to think what celebrities. That's a good question. I'll have to have a little think on that.
I heard that Joanna Lumley smelled of fags.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I can. But 08459 455 555. Nice smell, nasty smell, please.
Yeah.
Who smelt good and who smelt not so good?
Now, we don't do shout-outs on this programme.
We do not do shout-outs.
But some people have gone the extra mile,
right.
like Neil Dunkley.
Dunkley?
Now, he tweeted me yesterday to say, could we give him a little wave on the show? Because he's having his eye out.
He's what?
He's having his eye out tomorrow.
Wowzers. Yeah. Today or tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Well...
So, he's...
So today's just like a normal day for him? Today's like any other day.
The last day with both his eyes.
Well, it's actually coming out and they're keeping it out. Has it been naughty?
They're getting rid. I asked him what happened. He said that he had an industrial accident.
Wow, that means
3.5 years ago.
Well, hang on a minute. What's his name? Dunkley?
Neil.
Right, Dunkley, listen. 3.5 years ago, so there's no rush. And today's just an ordinary day. I'm not giving a shout-out to this chancer.
He's having his eye out, though.
Yeah, not today. And it could have happened 3.5 years ago. It's obviously not that bad if 3.5 years ago it happened.
I think it is quite bad.
We can't, but why?
I've tweeted to see if he'll come on. He hasn't replied.
No, he's been replying to me. That's why.
Right.
You just leave it to me. It's all fine.
He could be, for all I know, this Dunkley character could be... you could be Big Bird. He could be Mr. Snuffleupagus.
No, he's real.
Well, you say that.
Snuffleupagus, of course. I've seen him.
Well, so Big Bird. Have you seen on Twitter... Mr. Snuffleupagus has only got one follower and his account is locked to private, and that follower is Big Bird.
I know, isn't that beautiful?
Oh,
genius.
Such friends.
Did you have an imaginary friend?
No. Yes. Now... So, Dunkley is... I'm sorry, I'm not buying this. I'm not buying this. I want a photo. I want a video of the... I want a... not a GIMP. What do they call it? A GIF?
Before you start digging...
I want a vine of the removal, and I want a shot of the eye open with nothing in it. Before I start even considering doing shout-outs for these chancers.
He may speak to his post-op. It's complicated.
Yeah, I bet it is.
It's legal.
Wowzers. This just got legal. Who smells nice and who stinks, please?
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Now, on to slightly more serious things. Serco have suspended one member of staff and been told to carry out an investigation following a Channel 4 News expose of life at Bedfordshire Yarlswood Detention Centre. We'd heard stories, haven't we, Catherine? We've heard lots of stories. I remember people have said, oh, well, what goes on in Yarlswood would make your hair curl, but there's been no evidence of it, apart from a few things I've got out, until this Channel 4 thing last night. Undercover footage showed a manager referring to detainees as animals and suggesting a guard take a stick in there and beat them up. In another clip, a guard said some of the black women were evil. Well, the revelations coincide with the release of a cross-party parliamentary report into treatment of detainees at Yarlswood. Conservative MP for Bedford, Richard Fuller, is on the panel. Richard, did you watch the Channel 4 report, and what did you make of the findings?
I didn't see the report itself because I was at work, but I have seen some of the coverage subsequently, and I think I'm as shocked as I think anyone who would have seen the reporting from the undercover person at Yarlswood. But it sort of draws attention to the fact that when you have a very extensive detention estate for immigration detainees, incidents like this are likely to occur.
It does seem very odd that women who've been trafficked or sexually abused or are escaping absolute horrors, that they're being detained for months, and as well as that, possibly not getting the full medical and psychological treatment they need, and then also facing contempt from the staff that are there to look after them. Where's it all gone wrong?
Well, I think it's gone wrong from a point of view of policy. Detention for managing people here who have failed immigration status was originally brought in as an exception, with the majority being handled in the community. But over the last 20 years, it's gone from being the exception to being the rule. So now we have thousands, tens of thousands of people who go through our immigration detention centres, and we need to look at that policy and change the policy. There are more effective policies for handling people in the community. But I think in terms of staff, let's also remember that the vast majority of staff at Yarlswood and other immigration detention centres today will be going to work, doing their normal duty, treating people humanely, and will be as shocked and horrified as the rest of us at what was found out in the Channel 4 News programme.
Your report, Richard, what does it recommend?
It says we need to challenge the assumption in the Home Office that detention should be a first priority. We should now use it as the last resort. It says there are more effective policies, such as those used in Australia, where they have a case management system for people in the community, that we should establish a time limit. We shouldn't put people in detention and not tell them how long they're going to be there, that we should have a maximum time limit of 28 days, and that detention centres should be used for what they really are there for, which are removal centres. These should be used for when we're in the situation of people who've used up all their rights for immigration status in this country. They found that they have no rights to be here, to remove people, not as places where we park people for months and months and months on end, causing untold damage, mental health issues. And it also says in our report that there are certain people who should not be detained. Women who are the victims of rape and sexual violence, and pregnant women.
How would you prove that women have been victims of sexual violence?
Well, it's extremely difficult to know that circumstance. I've asked a number of questions in Parliament to ministers about how they check on the status of people. And to a certain extent, you have to take people on trust. And I would say this: detention is extraordinarily expensive to the taxpayer. It costs us £30,000 a year, at least, to keep someone in detention. And I would have thought that there are different policies where we can manage people in the community that would cost the taxpayer less. They're actually more effective. You get a higher compliance rate of people when they're managed in the community, when they understand their immigration status has come to an end, that they don't have a right to remain here. You have a higher compliance rate when people are told that and handled in the community for them to return to their home country than you do by not explaining things to people, locking people up for an indefinite period, which is currently the default position in our country.
So this is a report, Richard. What happens next? Will these things actually happen? Do they have to be voted on? What's the procedure?
Well, I think before the last general election in 2010, there was a similar type of campaign to end the detention of children. I mean, can you imagine? We used to detain children, put children in prison for immigration purposes. This is part of the culture where you just treat people who, because they're failed immigration asylum seekers, we just treat them as non-people. And when you treat people as non-people, you have things like we saw on Channel 4, this mistreatment of people like we saw on Channel 4. Before the 2010 election, cross-party MPs came together and said, we need to end the detention of children, and that put pressure on the incoming government in 2010 to change the law, and they did change the rules on that. This is the status now. We as a group of cross-party MPs are saying detention, the process of detention for immigration purposes, is costly, it's ineffective, and it's unjust, and we want the next government to change the rules, challenge the assumptions, and conduct a full review that will see us having a more effective policy on immigration detention.
Richard, I appreciate your time and your thoughts this morning. Thank you, Conservative MP for Bedford, Richard Fuller.
Call 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
We got any texts, Catherine, before we dive into the newspapers?
Let's have a look.
Why do you not just have it open?
Well, because I do have it open.
Well, then why have you got to then click?
I had to refresh it because Ev is still arguing about what happened with Stevie Wonder and Tony Blackburn. Okay. And it's just going on and on. Ev says, yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Well, Ev is suggesting that Stevie Wonder was about to walk off of a stage.
Off the edge, I guess.
What with him being blind. And he claims that Tony Blackburn saved his life.
Yeah, OK, yeah, that. Or stopped him from falling into the audience. He said, yes, he did. While he was singing, Stevie started walking towards the front.
Maybe, Ev, that's how you interpreted it, Ev. Listen, if you'd saved Stevie Wonder, if you'd saved a Motown legend's life, surely that would be the first thing you'd say to anyone.
He's very, 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 very modest, though.
You could be playing it down.
You're Tony Blackburn.
You could be playing it down.
We never found out whether it was Lauren or Lauren.
Lorraine.
Twins.
I don't like twins. Never liked twins.
Stop.
Yeah.
My mum's a twin.
Don't like
my
her.
cousins are twins. We have twins every generation in my family.
Don't like them. I think they're weird. This was in yesterday's paper, but the story here is there is a white-looking ginger girl and a black girl with frizzy hair, and you never guess it, but they're twins. Ooh.
Yeah, we know this happens.
Yeah, it happens. Yeah. This is not a pigment of your imagination.
Oh.
These two sisters are actually twins. With her fair skin, ginger hair and blue eyes, Lucy could not look more different to Maria, who has darker skin, thick black curly hair and brown eyes. The one thing they got in common, they're both cute. Oh, no, OK, you want to go for that. I don't like twins. Twins are freaky.
What are you talking about?
They do that thing where they speak in their own language.
No, they don't.
They do.
That was in Nell.
No.
That weird film with Jodie Foster.
No, and it was also those two women.
Which two women?
Who would finish each other's sentences. Don't tell me you don't remember the two women. They were on a par...
But they would what?
No, don't go there. They were on a par with Mr. Trebus. They were two old women and they would finish each other's sentences. And then they were talking like gobbledygook. I remember them going, what? What's the twin saying?
French.
And they would, but they could understand each other.
You've made these people up.
No, someone. 08459 455 555. Who are the creepy old twins?
I'm going to come out now as a twin-pathiser. I'm for twins. They can be twins for as long as they want.
Kath and I both have mothers who are twins.
Yeah,
well, I don't like them then.
But they're not twins, though.
No.
But they are twins.
I just think it's weird. And I tell you what's weirder is that the parents...
Dressing them the same.
Dress up twins the same. But then what's even weirder than the parents is when the twins get old enough and they carry on dressing up the same.
I'll tell you what's weirder.
Freaky shiz, man.
There were those two male twins that used to work together. They were sort of entertainers with the frizzy hair, right?
Yeah, yeah.
They married twins.
And then didn't they have babies on the same day? But their babies looked like each other. And they had psychic powers. And they travelled through time. And then it never happened.
My mum once bought her twin a card and the twin got her the same card. And then for their 50th birthday, they turned up wearing the same dress.
Great story.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the A1 Great North Road, it's looking slow in both directions now between the St Neots Junction and the Black Cat roundabout because of the roadworks that are there. In Sandy, on the A1 London Road, there are queues around between the Akbar and the Sandy roundabouts. And looking at the speed sensors in High Wycombe, the A40 London Road is starting to look very busy in both directions. On the M25 anti-clockwise, it's slow from junction 20 for Kings Langley to 16 for the M40. And the M1 southbound's looking very slow too between junction 10 for the Luton Airport Spur Road and 9 for Redbourne. On the trains, Virgin have possible 10-minute delays through Lichfield Trent Valley because of a signalling problem. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Sammy. 8:16, it's Tuesday the 3rd of March. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. A worker at Yarlswood Immigration Detention Centre in Bedfordshire has been suspended after a guard was secretly filmed calling inmates caged animals. Teachers, social workers and counsellors could face up to 5 years in prison if they ignore suspicions of child sexual abuse. And police in Buckinghamshire say officers involved in the death of a man in High Wycombe in 2008 will face a misconduct hearing as soon as possible.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Right.
Wheeler! Hello, good morning.
You all right, Wheeler?
Yes, very well. How are you?
But I'll be okay.
Great, good.
What's on your show this morning?
So yes, I will be keeping the chair warm with my body for JVS today. And at 9 o'clock, I'm going to be asking, are the police good at dealing with burglary in your experience?
Oh.
Well, the think tank Policy Exchange say theft, burglary and shoplifting have virtually been decriminalised because the offences are not treated as a priority by the police or the courts. And MP David Lammy, who I'll be speaking to after 9, he wrote the report and he's told the BBC... when a burglary occurs or a bike is stolen or a phone is taken, many victims will report the theft to the police, but solely as a way to get a crime number for their insurance company. Meanwhile, the government say, of course, that the police do not turn a blind eye to burglary, and they insist that PCCs across the country are doing something about it. Is that true in your experience? Are the police good at dealing with burglary in your experience? The phone lines are open for you from 9.
Two of Britain's most senior parliamentarians have vigorously denied any wrongdoing.
The biggest news stories mean different things to different people.
HSBC has described 2014 as a challenging year after reporting a 17% drop in its annual profits.
To us, the biggest stories are what's happening right here in Beds, Herts and Bucks.
A cancer charity based in Stevenage says they won't give up even though £5,000 worth of stock was
stolen.
My little collection tins, that's all gone.
Every day, we bring you the things that matter most to you.
With news bulletins throughout the day.
A memorial outside Luton Police Station for Leon Briggs could be removed.
In-depth discussions.
She's proved to the nation that she's actually a human being. She's not an automaton.
And online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
Local news.
When and where it happens.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Call 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Oh, no. Now, Gemma has tweeted, ha 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 ha, says Gemma Vokes-Pearson. My mum's twin was recently over from the USA and they decided to dress the same one day. Well, that's decided. That's making a conscious effort just to be a lunatic. The thing about twins, does this hold true? There's always a nice one and an evil one. I've got friends who are twins, and boy, oh boy, it was freaky. One of my best friends, okay, and this was years and years ago, and he was out, and there was a knock at the door, and it was him. And we're talking to him. It wasn't him. It was his evil twin. The only way you could tell the difference is he's got a slightly bigger nose.
And he always wore black.
And he was evil. Always trying to take over the world.
There were twins that worked in Debenhams in Bedford, right?
Yeah.
They both worked in the same place and, of course, both wore the same suits.
Yeah.
And they used to think it was hilarious how they would talk to someone on one floor and then the guy would go up to the next floor and think they were talking to the same person.
That makes me want to puke. Yeah, you're right, Kelly. Say it. Say it. Say it.
Ugly twins are the worst.
Most twins are ugly because they're the
Wow.
same. They're the same person split in half, so they've only got half a person between them.
Wow.
Not true.
It's true. So if you put them together,
My mummy's talking about.
if you
And
put,
yours.
if
It's
you,
outrageous.
if
My
you
mum's
put,
really
it's
attractive.
true. Twins are ugly. They look a bit weird. If you put them together, they make a full person, quite a good-looking person. But they've had their look split in half.
No.
Our mums are non-identical twins. They're not
Yeah,
twins, but they are
but they are
twins. But they're
twins.
non-identical twins. So
all
are
right.
they the twins you like?
They're jumping on the twin bandwagon. Dizzy!
Yeah, what's happening, Ian?
I've got no idea, mate. I'm speaking to a man called Dizzy.
Hey, man, I want to talk to you about a story, about when I was young and I went to a concert.
This sounds fantastic. Yeah, go on, mate.
Oh, tell me about
You tell me about it. I don't know it.
Okay, I'll try.
Well, do. Otherwise, it's going to be a bad phone call.
Okay, then.
Here we go. What happened when you were young, Dizzy, and you went to a concert?
Okay, so I went to a concert when I was young. It was at a festival hall, and I was sat up the back, and up the front actually.
Were you at the back or at the front?
Stop!
No,
stop!
I was at the
stop,
back of the
stop.
front.
Dizzy, you're
I was at the
ruining
back
this.
of the front.
You are ruining this phone call. Who was playing?
What?
We need the information. Whose concert was it?
Okay, it was a children's concert, and it was with Des O'Connor.
Hang on a minute, that's not a children's concert, that's an old people's concert. Your nan just said that to trick you.
Well, yeah, but he gave me some big shakers,
Hang on a minute, have the police been involved? Des O'Connor gave you some big shakers?
Yeah, to shake, because I was only young.
You would?
Yeah, I wanted to get ahead of the game.
Yeah.
So anyway, right, so that happened, and I was close to him, and he smelt amazing. It was incredible. It was possibly a little bit of alcohol, but it was nice. No, I'm joking.
How old were you, Dizzy?
Oh, I must have been about 8.
Okay, and what do you...
it shaped my life. It shaped my life.
Well, I can tell, mate. Do you know what song you were shaking to?
Do you know what? No. I think it was the smell.
Yeah.
It overpowered everything.
Was there anybody else on the bill, or was it just Des?
No, do you know what? It's all really hazy. It was some kind of. It was an orchestra, and he was narrating or something. You know what I mean?
That's the most.
But you know twins, right?
Yeah,
you know
mate.
twins.
Yeah, man.
You know Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito weren't actually twins, right?
I did not know that, Dizzy. No.
Okay, good. I was just because one's evil, one's.
I did not know that.
Good.
Thank you, Dizzy, for that.
That's all right. No worries.
Take care, man.
Yeah, take it easy.
Just rocked my world.
Well,
They were brothers.
They were brothers. They weren't twins.
Thought so.
That Dizzy is. We've spoken to Dizzy before, haven't we?
Yeah.
A couple of times. I like Dizzy. Put him in the podcast.
Already, yeah.
Don't put this fella in the podcast. You all right, Den?
Good morning.
Good morning, Den.
Now then, talking about smelling, Sunday night.
You smelt the Saturdays?
No, Sunday night, when we were in that theatre.
Oh, yeah,
and
it's 50 Shades of Grey.
got hold of a pair of ladies' underpants and smelled them.
OK, thanks very much.
Leave it, Dennis. That's not what you rang in about.
Dennis, what did you ring in about?
I was saying, I was going to say queer, but I'm not. Weird.
Yes.
Music, about, you've just been talking to our friend, doesn't mean a thing to me. It's just noisy wallpaper.
What? Hang on a minute, you're talking about Dizzy, talking about Des O'Connor?
No, all the sort of songs that your earlier guest was putting on, right?
Who are you talking about?
Well, what the hell was his name? I've forgotten his name already. It just shows you how important he was to me.
What guest?
TB.
You talking about TB?
Yeah. He doesn't...
Try and remember his name, Dennis.
Well, I'd say it just shows you how important he was to me.
Try and remember. Go on.
Right.
No, hang on. If the police were there with a taser aimed at you and they said, you have to remember that guest's name or we're going to taser you, what name would you come out with?
I'd let them taser me because it'd be exciting.
OK, right. So they've got a gun. They've got a gun pointed at your knees.
Never mind what he's pointing at, but...
Try and guess his name.
No, I wouldn't bother. I'd let them taser me, honestly. Anyway.
OK, so Terry Winwam.
Back to music,
yes.
Right? Because of my great age... But it was only crystal sets when I was a little lad.
Flipping. How much longer have you got, Dennis? And I don't mean in terms of this phone conversation, I mean in terms of breath.
I don't, but why songs and stuff is just noisy wallpaper.
Well, tell us then.
Noisy wallpaper.
I know, tell us.
Right, so the type of music I like is like Cavatina or anyway, the one that's about the Spanish Civil War. That's the sort of music I like.
The one about the Spanish Civil War?
What, yeah, something anyway. It was actually written in France by someone who'd been thrown out of Spain during the Civil War, which is in the 1936.
Oh, do you know what I know? I know exactly the song. I think I know the song that you mean.
And that touches me.
Is it? Hang on, is it this one? Is it this, Dennis?
I'm listening.
We wish you a reggae Christmas.
No.
We wish you a reggae Christmas. We wish you a reggae New Year and a reggae New Year.
Hear me now.
We wish you a reggae New Year. We wish you a reggae New Year. We wish you a reggae New Year and a reggae New Year.
I have different words to that, and I can't sing them to you.
Oh, hang on a second. Is it the Spanish Civil War?
No, but it was 1936.
I know exactly the song you mean.
I've got something I ran anyway.
It was this.
Street, swinging London, Hyde Park Corner, Leicester Square, swinging London, everywhere it's in the air, swinging London, Hyde Park Corner, Oxford Street, swinging London, Chelsea Strand and Baker Street, swinging London, Charing Cross, Trafalgar Square, swinging London, everywhere it's in the air, swinging London, swinging London. Lambeth Walk and Battersea, Hammersmith on ITV, Humperdinck on BBC, going on and on, day and night long, swinging London, ding dong, ding dong, dong, ding, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, dong, ding, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, dong.
Dennis?
So I'm sorry to say, Ian, that you're...
Is this it? Hang on, keep listening. Dennis, is this it?
No, it's...
Hang on, keep listening, because you might recognise the next bit. Here we go.
Action movies, theatre news, swing in London, big production, soul and blues. Swing in London, revolution underground. Swing in London, groupies, hippies, tramps around. Swing in London, swing in London, kings of fashion, Mary Quants. Swing in London, discotheques and restaurants. Swing in London, striptease joints, casino pubs. Swing in London, bingo halls and playboy clubs. Swing in London, swing in London, northern, east and south and west. Party spot is still the best. Riley Scott will never rest. Going down and down, day and night long. Swing in London, swing in London, ding dong, ding dong.
Dennis, was that the song?
No, you've just ruined my breakfast. The milk's gone sour listening to that.
So was that the song or not, Dennis?
No, it was not. Actually, I think that you are a classical music illiterate. I'm sorry.
Thank you very much. That's the nicest thing you've ever said to me.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M25 anti-clockwise, it's slow from junction 24 for Potters Bar to 23 for the A1M at South Mims. On the A1M southbound, that's looking very busy too from junction 9 for Letchworth towards junction 7 for Stevenage. And in Sandy on the A1 London Road, that's very busy looking at the speed sensors between Georgetown Road at the Agbar and Bedford Road at the Sandy roundabouts. On the A1 Great North Road as well, there are roadworks between the St Neots Junction and the Black Cat roundabouts, making it very slow. And on the speed sensors into High Wycombe on the A404 Amersham Hill, that's looking very busy too. On the trains, Virgin are reporting 10-minute delays through Lichfield Trent Valley because of a signalling problem. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 8:30. I'm Simon Oxley. A worker at Yarlswood Immigration Detention Centre in Bedfordshire has been suspended after a guard was secretly filmed calling inmates caged animals. The footage was filmed by an undercover reporter for Channel 4. Teachers, social workers and counsellors could face up to 5 years in prison if they ignore suspicions of child sexual abuse. And police in Buckinghamshire say officers involved in the death of a man in High Wycombe in 2008 will face a misconduct hearing as soon as possible. Yesterday, an inquest into the death in custody of Habib Ullah returned a verdict of misadventure.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
There's a full Football League programme tonight with more key matches for our promotion challenging sides. Watford could welcome back leading scorer Odion Ighalo at home to Fulham in the Championship, with manager Slavisa Jokanovic aiming to build on the win at Leeds.
We must improve, definitely. We can improve. It's our obligation. If we want to be a serious team, we must improve some things in our game.
In League One, Milton Keynes Dons will have new signing Joe Walsh on the bench at home to Chesterfield. Here's manager Carl Robinson.
It's been someone that we've looked at for a while now. Obviously, when we lost Shawnee Williams, we've never replaced a left-footed defender to either cover Louis or to cover Casey, and that's what it'll be for the rest of the season. With the suspensions that Kyle and Casey get themselves caught up in, it's good cover. In League Two, Luton welcome back skipper Steve McNulty after a 4-match ban for the trip to Bury. Goalkeeper Mark Tyler could return after a 2-match absence. Stevenage will have to make a change up front at home to Plymouth, with striker Chris Beardsley suspended after his red card on Saturday. Third-placed Wycombe go to Tranmere, and you can follow all tonight's action on Three Counties Sport from 7. In Conference South, Hemel Hempstead go to Staines, and a majority of League One and League Two clubs are backing a proposal to allow Premier League B teams to participate in the Johnston's Paint Trophy. In golf, Padraig Harrington has won the PGA Tour event in Florida, his first time
title in 7 years. Woburn's Ian Poulter had looked set to win, but hit 5 balls into the water.
I've handed one away this week, and, it's going to hurt because, making triples and doubles just doesn't get it done, and it's a shame. I shouldn't do that. I mean, I don't make a bogey in round 3, and it's pretty flawless, and then 3 soft shots have cost me.
And in the Netball Super League last night, Hertfordshire Mavericks lost 56-42 away to the Yorkshire Jets. BBC Three Counties News and Sport. The next full bulletin is at 9.
Call 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Simon. If you've just tuned in, you've missed the revelations that the radio legend Tony Blackburn hated Frankie Valli and wanted to, quotes, kick him in the nuts. You've missed that.
It's true fact. I mean, normally Iain will elaborate and make stuff up.
It's true.
That was straight from the mouth of the Blackburn. I mean, wow.
I wasn't expecting that.
No, because he's normally he's professional, he's chirpy, he keeps it light, doesn't he? It got dark for a moment.
We're going to work out a way of getting that whole interview out as a podcast, whether it goes out as a separate podcast or dominates this week's podcast. I think the whole thing was absolutely wonderful. So we should. Last 30 minutes of the show before Tim steps in for JVS. We are what's under your bed? What's under your bed?
What's under your bed?
Please.
Freaky snacks.
My wee Willy Winky is under the bed.
You don't really have one of those, do you?
Yeah, I do.
Wow.
I love it. I used to have a. This is the hat.
Yeah.
I used to have the nightgown, and I used to run all up and down the town until I got arrested.
Yeah, you're not allowed to peep at the lot.
I don't have the nightgown anymore, but I've got a wee Willy Winky. I love it.
Did it get snagged on a bush?
Grooming. I'll bring the wee Willy Winky in tomorrow. I'll bring the wee Willy Winky in tomorrow. It's great, man. It's massive and it's lovely. It's a proper one. I think I got it from Marx's. He's been able to get it from Marx's back in the day. So that's under there, as was the book on how to do radio, some magazines, music magazines, jazz. No, music magazines, like some toys and some headphones and stuff.
Have you seen?
And a hard drive.
Have you seen the size of Scott Shreddy?
Yeah, we're talking freaky foods as well.
Right, every now and again you might get a little treat given to you by the mass food production unit factory thing. Whereby
me and Kel's going to keep quiet. We're going to watch you flounder at this.
Okay,
Go on.
so like a Kit Kat that's got no wafer in it, or one of these massive hula hoops that apparently can go for £700 on the internet eBay auction sites, or a Haribo ring that's got no hole in it, stuff like that. Or
you're making a really fun story seem really dull.
What have you had that's been a pleasant surprise? A freaky snack.
I like Paul Norman on Twitter, the petrified chocolate bar.
Yes!
I'm going to retweet that, actually. That's brilliant. But Scott Bowks, he had a giant...
Shreddy, it was a 9er. They hadn't separated off properly.
3x3. Wow. Unbelievable. Hey, my cat food was mouldy. She's been eating it, so, fair play to her. But dry cat food... And I poured some out yesterday, and I thought there was one of them was a bit mouldy. I thought, that's weird. So I put it... And then I poured it out today, and it was all mouldy. My poor little girl.
But she's still eating it.
Well, I chucked it away once I realised what was going on, and give that to the kids. But it was very, very disappointing.
Okay.
So, freaky foods.
And
what's under your bed?
And aren't guinea pigs boring?
Aren't guinea pigs boring? And good smell, bad smell. Who smells nice? Ozzy Osbourne, Tony Blackburn. Who smells bad? My team.
Can I introduce a sub phone in from the guinea pigs being boring thing?
Listen, the thing is, we all know we're just throwing out these phone-ins because no one's phoning in, and so the content is us talking about the phone-ins that people will not phone in about.
Okay, well, this is because we haven't thrown in the sub phone in for the aren't guinea pigs boring thing. Has anyone else been told the thing about not keeping guinea pigs and rabbits together?
No, you're meant to.
Not supposed to.
You're meant to. It's company.
No, it's not company. The rabbit will abuse the guinea pig in the worst possible way.
Not if you... No, you've got to get its bits cut off.
That Tony Blackburn thing is 24 minutes. We could just replay that now.
What now?
It's kind of tempting, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is the way I want to go. When I go, and it will happen eventually. I'm sorry, guys, girls, children, grandparents. I'm sorry. I will die one day. Not here forever. I know I have many Christ-like qualities, but resurrection is not one of them. Well, maybe it is. We don't know that for sure.
Oh, get on with it. What?
Test it out.
Missing woman lay dead in her car for 5 years.
This is a horrible thing.
No way.
Family thought she wanted to be left alone.
Oh my God.
This is horrible. And there's no saving grace. A woman lay dead in her car for 5 years. And hang on. Can you get the Halloween theme tune, please?
No, don't do this.
Why? Can you get the theme tune from Halloween, please?
Am I allowed to, Kath?
No.
Not for this. For something. This actually isn't
So
for
you
this.
don't need it right now.
I need it so I can have it.
No.
So I like to have it. I won't do it for this. It goes ding 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 ding
I know
ding
this
ding
song.
ding 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 ding. Can you get that? And the Twilight Zone music, and the X Factor, X-Files. The X-Files Factor. There's a show. People come on and tell spooky stories.
I love that.
And if Simon Cowell wets himself, a little bit of weed comes out of Simon Cowell, they go through to the next. It goes through to boot camp.
People disappear once
Spooky
they've won
camp.
the X Factor. That is the X-Files.
They go to spook camp. No, we indulge our fantasy. Then you can do your little joke.
Oh.
X-Files Factor. They come out. They do spooky
Yeah.
stories. If
Yeah.
a little bit of weed comes out of Simon Cowell, they go to spook camp.
And they still get all the money, so that the amount that goes into stage production goes into their stories.
I believe Kath had a joke. A joke.
A joke.
Kath?
Tell me, Kath.
Kath's, ladies and gentlemen, it's Kath's joke. Brought to you by Catherine Boyle. Live from Luton.
Not doing it.
Do you want to come on and have a chat with us?
Kath's joke.
Not doing it.
What's your name?
Ladies and gentlemen, she's very nervous. It's Kath's joke.
I'm not doing it.
Well, that's a little bit rude, isn't it? A bit selfish, isn't it?
Why don't you put the echo on? She might do it then.
Okay, yeah. It's Kath's joke.
No.
That is really grumpy. Pam?
Maybe it won't
Good morning, Ian.
Good morning, Pam. Are you in a shoe?
Hello, it's Ricky.
In a shoe.
Are you in a shoe?
What's that?
It's the thing you put on your foot. You sound very wooden.
No.
No, okay. Would you like Catherine to do her joke?
Yes.
Okay.
Not doing it, no, sorry.
Pam has asked. And Pam...
I like Pam, I don't like you two. So, 2 to 1, not doing it.
Do the... 08459 455 555. Would you like Catherine to do her joke?
No, he's doing the quote bunnies, Pam, which is very rude. And the only reason he doesn't think it's a joke is because it doesn't involve the word bottom.
Oh, isn't that nice?
Catherine said bottom. Can we clip that? Pam, what would you like to say?
I'd just like to say it was nice to listen to Tony Blackburn on your show.
He was good, wasn't he?
It was.
He's such a nice gentleman, and I just think he's one of these people that no one sits down and talks. No one interviews him properly, and I hope you felt that I did him justice.
Yes, you did.
He smells very nice, Pam.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah, imagine waking up next to that. Eh? Yeah? 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 Thank you, Pam. So, what's your joke, Kath?
Not doing it.
Oh.
Did you want me to clip something from that?
Yeah, she said bottom.
She said what?
See what I mean? This is the level I'm working with.
Have you got the Halloween music,
funny,
the
satirical joke?
Twilight Zone music, or the X Factor?
No,
Sorry.
do you really
X-Files.
want
No, because no.
Not for this. For later date, for the next time that Justin goes out to get Ev or something.
Yeah.
A woman.
Please don't do this.
What?
Please don't do this.
It's
a really awful story.
Well, but it happened in the world.
I know, but you're
censorship. Oh, liberal lefty BBC. Typical liberal lefty BBC.
No, but it's the way it's being done.
Censorship.
Oh no.
What would you like me to do then? What would you? I was going to get another 19 minutes out of this. What would you like? What do you?
Can you do just do it straight without the sound effects?
All right.
Or any.
A woman.
Oh.
What? What? What do you expect me to do? I'm trying to do my best here.
Your job. That's what I expect you to do.
I'm doing it.
Go on then.
A woman. Oh, don't. All right. No. Okay. We won't do it then. We'll do this.
It's an awful story about how we don't look after each other enough.
No, it's about a
Doesn't
woman
need
that lay
echo.
dead in a car for 5 years.
No.
Oh,
Because people thought she wanted leaving alone. Not awful, tragic.
All right, we won't do that then. Here we go, this is a good one. Is your sat-nav harming your brain? No. They've got 2 pages out of that, no. But then maybe it is. Scientists warn overuse of modern technology may be linked to memory loss and depression in later life.
What?
Can't recall a friend's phone number? Press the speed dial on your mobile. Don't know the way to their house? Use a sat-nav. Modern technology has taken the strain off our brains with the answers to so many problems available at the click of a button. Sounds like a good thing, right? It might not be. Is there a dark side? Is there a dark side to all this convenience? I buy into this. Growing scientific evidence suggests a future where our brains may prematurely fail in later life through underuse, thanks to Mother Nature's rule that we use it or lose it. That's a Mother Nature rule.
Use it or lose it?
Use it... No. What did I say? Use it or lose it.
But don't abuse it. Bottom.
Huh? Don't use it or lose it.
Bottom.
I don't know if it necessarily means that. I suppose it could heal over.
You too.
Bottom.
What does that sound like going into Radio 4?
Well, there's only one way to find out, of course, isn't there?
Bottom.
Everything was fine. They were staying in Dubai at the...
Bottom.
Unbelievable. And you call us childish.
Yeah, I do.
Why?
Because of that.
You did.
That amuses you more than my very witty joke. Bottom. Do you know what I mean?
Kath, where are you in that hole? You're at the...
Bottom.
OK. Well,
Honestly, what a pair.
Of...
Bottom.
Cheeky. You might describe this new threat to our mental health as, and this is good, ementia.
Why would I describe it as that?
Memory-related problems and even depression linked to our overuse of technology. I know what it's like. When I lose my Wi-Fi signal, I get really angry.
Wow, that really is a luxury problem.
That's dementia. Some of the most worrying evidence of the problems we may be storing up for later life relate to navigation aids. Research shows our growing use of sat-navs stops us using the brain's sophisticated capacity, some of us have that, for mapping surroundings as we pass them and building these impressions into a mental picture. Well, you don't need to do it because you've got Stephen Fry telling you where to go, haven't you? We'll have more on that after this.
Bottom.
Oh, for goodness sakes.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M25 anti-clockwise, there's been a breakdown at junction 25 for Enfield and 24 for Potters Bar. So there's 1 mile queues on the approach to that section where the vehicle's broken down. On the A1M southbound, it's very slow from junction 9 for Letchworth towards junction 7 for Stevenage. And on the A1 Great North Road, it's looking very busy in both directions through the roadworks between the Black Cat roundabout and the St Neots junction. In High Wycombe, looking at the speed sensors on the A40 London Road, that's looking very slow in both directions. And also the A40 Western Avenue is very slow round the Denham roundabout towards the M25. On the Virgin trains, they're reporting 10-minute delays through Lichfield Trent Valley because of a signalling problem. Samantha Braff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Sammy. Right, it's 8:46. It's Tuesday, the 3rd of March. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. A worker at Yarlswood Immigration Detention Centre in Bedfordshire has been suspended after a guard was secretly filmed calling inmates caged animals. Teachers, social workers and counsellors could face up to 5 years in prison if they ignore suspicions of child sexual abuse. And police in Buckinghamshire say officers involved in the death of a man in High Wycombe in 2008 will face a misconduct hearing as soon as possible. 08459 455 555. Let's get the weather. Here's Kate.
Beds, Herts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Well, most of the showers seem to have now moved eastwards. There's still 1 or 2 lighter ones, but not as intense as the ones we had earlier. Behind it, we've got some nice sunny spells. Still a brisk westerly wind, so if you are unlucky enough to get a shower later, it's not going to last for long. Temperatures up to 8, maybe 9 Celsius in the sunshine, but with the wind, it's probably not going to feel too warm. Still, the sun is shining overnight. Dry and clear, the wind falling a little lighter, so it's possible that in the in the early hours of tomorrow morning. Could get a frost develop in the rural spots. Towns and cities likely to hover just above 0 though. So a chilly start tomorrow, but there's more sunshine tomorrow. The wind a little lighter and it's going to feel just a little bit warmer. The maximum temperature for Wednesday at 9 Celsius. So gradually starting to feel a little bit more like spring. And that's your forecast.
Thank you, Kate.
The FA Cup on the BBC.
And there is the crowning glory!
Get carried away with the Cup. This weekend, it's the quarter-finals.
Oh my, it's Cup magic! They're doing it again!
Saturday at 5:30, Aston Villa versus West Bromwich Albion.
What a goal! Berahino's joined the party! Villa are heading through to the quarter-final.
Followed on Monday at 7:45 by Manchester United against Arsenal.
Marouane Fellaini has turned the game around! Oh, what a magnificent strike by Olivier Giroud!
Live on BBC One and BBC One HD.
Richard's in Cranfield. Good morning, Richard.
Good morning, Ian.
What you got for us, boss?
Well, I just trying to explain to my daughter on the way to school this morning, not that I go to school, but she does.
Yes.
Again, what your show is all about. She did ring into you a couple of weeks ago, Penny, talking about Jude Law, not that she understood what Jude Law was.
No, yes, I remember Penny, yeah.
Yes, but I was still trying to explain to her when she was going, I don't understand what all the bottom and everything else that goes on the show, and guinea pigs. Yes, apparently so, yeah.
Yeah, it's so childish.
I'm just explaining that parent to parent, you're obviously creating even more conversations with our children, which is great because it means she's unplugged from the matrix.
Oh, I thought he was about to have a go at me and challenge me to a punch-up.
I was hoping that he would, yeah.
For corrupting his beautiful daughter Penny. But no, he's praising me for helping parents around the country. I'm going to give myself a spontaneous round of applause. Catherine, you should probably join in with that there. OK, those are
My
fingers.
fingers are busy.
Well, Richard, that's very nice.
Well, it's good to actually get some conversation out of her sometime.
How was she? Did you say she was 9?
No, she's 14.
14. So she's constantly face down in a screen.
That's the one. Yes, that's her. Yeah.
Yeah. Does that not annoy? Saying that, actually, I remember being 14 and being in the back of my mum and dad's car, and I would have my Walkman on. I'd have my Sony Walkman on. So I was even then, when was that? 1987. Blimey. I was isolating from and separating myself from my parents. So I guess it's been going on for a while, hasn't it?
Well, we had the Game Boys as well, where we had the left and right buttons to catch the, parachutist in the various different Game Boy things that we had. And yes, I suppose we were...
So actually, Richard, it turns out you're a bad dad, and you should be encouraging her not to talk to you, but to play more games.
Apparently so. Okay.
Shame on you, Richard.
Take it all back, yes.
Richard, good to talk to you. Thank you very much. What a nice thing to say. You see, Catherine, yes, I've lost the friendship of a wonderful woman. Oh, no, hang on. Kelly, are we still friends?
Yeah, man,
in that case, I take that back.
She's not a woman. Yeah.
Well, she may not be a lady, but she is all woman. I've just got the results back from the laboratory. Hang on.
Are you quoting Lisa Stansfield as Ev?
I'm quoting the scientists at Milton Keynes Hospital, and they've said, yes, Kelly, it's your name, isn't it?
Yep.
Well done. You may not be a lady. It said, we had the results back in regards to Ms. Kelly Betts and the tests. We can confirm she may not be a lady, but she is all woman, and they've underlined all.
I did think that was the case.
Well, we've just got to check these things.
Yeah.
Peter's in Walmer Green. Peter, what would you like to have a whinge about this morning?
I just wanted to say to you that don't be seduced by well-modulated voices, because some of our biggest traitors had very nice voices, Burgess, McLean, and all the rest of the pack, if you like.
Yeah, sorry, are you talking about Justin Dealey's well-modulated voice?
No, not at all. I think he's a really good character.
Dealey?
He's too much into records, but...
You wait. One day we're going to unmask Justin Dealey and tell everybody his real name, and he's going to step out of the character. It's like Dealey's like Dapper Laughs. He's not a real person.
What?
There's an actor underneath. There's an actor inside him.
Well, I think he's quite a good character for your programme. Sometimes he brings it down to earth.
He's written by the same people that used to write Ali G. And Roy Chubby Brown.
And he's very knowledgeable about records.
Yeah,
unfortunately, there's not very many other people like that.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, Peter, thank you so much for calling.
You're welcome.
Not a clue what he was talking about today. Don't be seduced by people with well-modulated voices.
I think actually he was trying to make a point. He's been trying to debate for about 3 days about traitors to the state and how the posh ones are the ones you've got to watch. But actually, it does apply to Justin Dealey in many ways, doesn't it?
John's in Datchworth. Good morning, John.
Good morning, Mr. Lee.
What have you got? There we go. Respect at last. Big up yourself, John. What have you got for us, Surf?
Stuff that you keep under your bed.
Oh, yeah, go on.
I've got my late dad's chrome-plated mother-of-pearl cowboy guns and all the intricate carved holsters, knife holder and spurs, straps and all that sort of stuff.
I thought I'm glad I did, with the greatest respect, I did think you were going to say I got my late dad under there. I thought, blimey.
No, he was a large fella, he wouldn't fit.
Oh, well done. Hang on, are these proper functional guns?
No, they are blanks. They fire blanks.
Oh.
It makes all the noise, but it doesn't do anything.
And why are they under there? Is that in case someone dodgy turns up?
No, I think they're worth a couple of quid. But, he used to do country and western singing. He used to go and sing on RAF bases and stuff like that.
Did he really?
And if he ever went to somewhere like Butlins or Haven and that, if they knew he was there, they would get him to sing.
Fantastic. And what did he have backing tapes, or did he play a guitar, or what did he do?
He did have a couple of guitars. I lost contact with him for about 20 odd years, and my wife tracked him down on the computer. And unfortunately, he died 6 months after we found him again.
Oh, mate, I'm sorry. Well, at least you found him again, I suppose. Is the little comfort there?
Yeah, all down to my lovely wife.
Can I? And if it's an inappropriate question, tell me to jog on. Why did you fall out?
My mum and dad divorced when we was young.
Yeah.
And he wasn't one to stay in any one particular place for very long. And I moved him up to Kilburn. I used a firm's vehicle. It was a C plate, so that was about 85, 86.
Yeah.
And then my wife wanted to know what he looked like, so she'd never met him. And she tracked him down, and I didn't expect him to be in the same place, and he was.
He was still there. How funny. Very similarities to me and my dad. John, listen, thank you for that.
OK, young man. See you soon.
Thank you very much indeed. Young man, sir, Mr. Lee. Guys, he had a good story to tell. Come on, he did a funny joke. Guys, come on. You could all learn a lot from... I suggest you go out around John's house. It's in Datchworth. And it should be easy to find, and learn a few lessons from him.
You try it yourself. Could be your next stand-in.
Yeah. What? Dealey.
Yes, boss.
What's under your bed? Now, after 50 Shades of Grey, I'm suggesting a whole lot of stuff could be under there.
Yeah, all sorts of bits and pieces. Lots of swagger clothing, some magazines, some CDs, some old vinyl as well. Just some tap, really. What? Sorry.
CD magazines?
No, a few CDs.
Oh, sorry.
CDs, yeah. Are we clear on that?
We're clear on that.
Okay, great stuff. So I've been on the streets in the last 15 minutes or so asking the key question this morning, what's under your bed? Here's what people had to say.
What's under my bed? Oh, loads and loads of shoes and clothes from India, because I like going there and travelling and buying loads of silk dresses.
Wow. Yeah. Silk dresses, that's the most exciting thing under your bed.
Well... PVC dresses as well, yeah.
Hello. Well, when do they come out then? At weekends?
Yeah, weekends.
Okay, thanks very much.
All right, bye.
I don't know, a box.
What's in the box?
It's an empty box, my TV box.
Why have you got an empty box under your bed? That's ridiculous.
Oh, in case I move, I need to put my TV back in the box.
What's under your bed?
My shoes.
Nothing naughty?
Oh, no.
Nothing illegal?
No, absolutely not.
Suitcases and 3 teddy bears.
I have clothes and shoes and a lot of dust.
Can I just say, there was... I'm going to play the beginning of that again, Justin, and we're all going to make the noise that we made, OK?
What's under my bed? Oh, loads and loads of shoes.
Whoa! She said it was shoes,
Don't worry, guys, all carefully edited for your pleasure across Beds, Hearts and Bucks.
What's under my bed? Oh, loads and loads of shoes.
C'est une panique.
Yes, and PVC outfits for the weekend.
Well, I'm going to stop talking. Justin, thank you very much indeed. We got any texts, Kath? Oh, you actually got a cob on? Unbelievable. How unprofessional.
We haven't got any good ones.
How unprofessional. Could you not save the cob for after the show?
Why waste it?
I save my cobs for a later date.
Really?
I build them up as little resentments into one big resentment, then I let rip.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what happens.
I might show you some texts.
A woman was found.
No, don't.
I've just seen a text.
Yeah, you probably can't read it.
I think
I'd rather you didn't, Kelly. I'd rather you just piped down a little bit.
Wowzers.
No, it's a nice one.
No, that's fine. No.
Is it from you?
It's not.
It just says, "We love you, Catherine." Yeah.
Did you send that in?
No, I didn't.
You were on your phone. You sent that in to yourself. You did. Oh, mate,
Wow, so not only do you belittle me in front of everyone...
It's not belittling.
But now you're suggesting that the only person who loves me is myself.
Well, did you send that text in?
No, I didn't. Look at the phone number. That's not my phone number. That's an actual fan and his dog.
Speaking of dogs, I didn't get time to talk about the 12.5 stone pit bull. Have you seen that? It's as big as those two women.
That's still growing as well.
It's only 17 months old. The mammoth beast towers over his handlers, who say he could snap a man's arm like a twig.
Why would it do that?
Hulk belongs to Lisa Grennan, 24, and her husband Marlon, whose company Dark Dynasty specialises in breeding pit bull... Oh, my God, that's horrible.
That's too big, that dog.
That's too big. I think,
You're not
imagine how many families that could feed.
I imagine the meat would be quite tough. They're very muscular.
Give it a go.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The A1M southbound's looking very slow on the speed sensors from junction 9 for Letchworth towards junction 7 for Stevenage, and the M25 anti-clockwise has queues between junction 17 for Maple Cross and 16 for the M40. In Amersham on Gore Hill, that's looking very slow on the speed sensors between the A413 and the A40 London Road, and the A1 Great North Road is very slow between the roadworks between School Lane at Roxton and the Black Cat roundabout, and from the St Neots junction 2 it's all very slow through the roadworks. On the trains, Virgin are reporting 10-minute delays through Lichfield Trent Valley because of a signalling problem, and also disruption on services to Birmingham New Street. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Sammy, excellent stuff as always. Thank you very much. That's it. That's your lot. We'll have a little look into putting the whole interview with Tony Blackburn out as a podcast at some point. Thank you, Tony. It was so nice to have you on the show. Thank you, Kels, Justin, Catherine.
Bottom.
There we go. We'll be back tomorrow at 6. Until then, from us, ta-ta.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Yes, thank you, Ian. It's the JVS show. Tim Wheeler standing in for Jonathan Vernon Smith. And at 9, it's the big phone-in.